Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon. Welcome back to a new season, a new episode of Call of Cthulhu, Reign of Terror. As we're here for the very first time, premiere night, it's an exciting one. Let us go around the table, let's figure out who we are and who we are playing today. And let us start with, of course, our very own keeper, Mr. Grimjack21502. Greg, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well, Will. I am doing well. We are here. We are doing some Reign of Terror. It is going to be fun. It is going to be French, and it is going to be fatal. Let us get into this. Let us dive into this. I didn't get all dressed up for nothing.
You're dressed up?
Really? This is actually
Shut up, man.
Normal outfit. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. And also, someone who's made a real big effort today that we really actually appreciate. Mike. Loving your outfit today. Looks like you really, pulled out all stops for tonight.
Yeah, I really did. I shaved because French aren't allowed to have hair. That's a true fact. I read somewhere and I made up. I wrote it myself and read it.
Yep.
And Greg, unfortunately, they have wigs. Yeah, that's why, because they don't have hair.
That's why. Yeah.
Greg, unfortunately, based on previous performances, you did dress up for no reason. Having played through your last campaign, we're not going to do anything today. But as always, I'm here to disappoint. I am Mike Lemon Gaming, and I'm playing Terry Renault. I don't know anything about him, so we'll all find out together.
Good.
It's gonna be great.
Good. Excellent. We also have returning to our screens after a sojourn. We have Haley. How are you doing, Haley?
I'm doing great. It's totally not a pun. Not like I say it every game I ever play. Ha ha ha! Great Haley. But I am playing Christoph, who is totally the ladies' man. Totally not like a lot of other characters I'm playing lately, where they're definitely full of lewdness and stuff.
Nope.
Slow
and creepy. Slow and creepy.
How you doing?
Yes, of course you might remember Haley from such shows as the Horror on the Orient Express of a Call of Cthulhu season earlier last year. Great to have you back, Haley. We also, of course, have returning to our screens, the one, the only, the Mythomatic Man. How you doing, Myth?
Hello, how are you?
I am much better for hearing that voice.
Good, yes. So am I, for also hearing my voice.
Yes, I find that to be the same with me as well.
Yes, it's the same as well. I'm super excited to be here, super excited to be playing. Welcome, everyone, to the French Accent Simulator. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be, 2018. It's going to be great. I am playing Etienne Babin. He is large, robust, and handsome. I exude Joey de Vivre, and I'm super excited.
Oh man, I can't wait. And last but not least, we have Jules with us. How are you doing, Jules?
Hey, so I'm Jules. I'm playing Joseph Hugel, or if you're from North Carolina, Joe Huggle. Who is kind of like a finder of things, and I hand to God, am gonna try not to butcher a French accent.
I, on the other hand, am going to try. So.
See, you'll probably do it better than me. So that's that. I'm just gonna sit here and try not to.
the wrong stream.
Welcome.
Try not to sound horribly squeaky voice.
Yeah, this is the. If there are any French people out here watching, then we apologize in advance. But we're
sorry.
But yeah,
If there are French people watching, you did this to yourself.
Yes, we blame you.
If there are any French people
all over your culture.
If there are any French people watching. If there are any French people watching, my name is Redundant UK.
That's it. Oh man! As for myself, I of course will be playing the lovable Michel, a soldier, of course, Michel Beaumains, and he's a lovely chap. He wears this cap. Michel.
Nailed it.
There we go.
It's
Nailed
the gun.
Nailed it.
Joey de Vivre.
Joey de Vivre.
Joey de Vivre is his contact back in America.
That's the next Pulp 1920 Cthulhu character. Hey, Joey de Vivre.
Well, when Etienne dies, I'll play as Joey de Vivre.
That is a promise. I swear to God, we're making that happen. It's canon now. But yeah, I will be launching off from the characters and learning about them as we go as well. I'm a soldier. Joseph is a water bearer. Etienne is an infantry sapper. Christoph is a soldier, and Terry is a sergeant. So we've got a pretty all-star crew here to go into the Reign of Terror. And of course,
we were railroaded.
We were railroaded into doing this. We didn't want to. Myth wanted to play Joey de Vivre from the very start. Wouldn't let it happen. But anyway, before we dive into today's show, I want to thank Chaosium Inc. for letting us do the show first of all. Shout out to those guys and to the folks who wrote Reign of Terror and published it as well. Also, big shout out to our sponsors, D & Dice. You can find them there. You can use the code InCanRoleplay to get 5% off all of their dice. Go check them out. Go and show them some love for us. Helps keep the show running and helps keep the madness of Cthulhu from entering into your brain for too long. Also, of course, you can interact with today's show if you didn't already know. If you haven't followed yet, hit that follow button and join us. 20 followers, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. Could be saying good, but let's face it, it's Call of Cthulhu and we're playing, so it's going to be bad. There is a tweet for you guys. I'm pretty sure we've smashed through 20 retweets already because we're on 19 before I went live, so viewer decisions are bound to be abound. And of course, you can donate to Effective Gamer as well. Give players net ones, net 20s, wild magic surges, and for this month only, give them pets as well. It's going to be fun. All right.
Bound to be abound.
Bound to be abound. Other than that, though, I'm going to hand over to the one and the only Grimjack21502, our keeper for tonight. Greg, take us away into the world of Reign of Terror.
All right. This is a little different.
A magnanimous dispensation.
Dungeons and Dragons. So we begin, as all good stories must, with a tale. The center of this city is dark, cramped, and hideous, something from the time of most shameful barbarism. Voltaire. Blood. The time has come when the wine too would be spilled in the street stones, and when that stain on it would be read upon many there. Charles Dickens. But our story does not need quotes. We shall make our own. Thump, clank, thud. The sounds of the times. Thump as a victim pushes to their knees in front of the plank below the guillotine. Clank as the lunette, the restraint, is locked over their neck. Thud as the fall of that terrible blade. Endlessly repeated. Thub, thud, clank, thud. It is June 1794. A two-wheeled cart with high wooden sides rumbles through the streets of Paris, drawn by a tired horse. Men and women stand in the back of the cart, some downcast, some weeping. Yet one person holds their head high, in defiance, in challenge. One person from the 5 you see around here. Their back is to us. We cannot see their face. The cart passes along a street lined with crowds. They jeer at the occupants of the cart, laughing and making gestures, drawing fingers across their throats. Yet, but not everyone mocks. A middle-aged woman with 2 young girls, aged 7 or 8, pushes forward and looks anxiously at the cart, hugging the girls close to her dress. A broken old man shakes his head as the cart goes by, while a dog with 1 black ear runs after the cart. Barking, and a soldier curses, kicks the dog, it howls and runs back into the crowd. A young woman with close-cropped blonde hair stands by the road, silently weeping as the cart passes. A bearded man, his face lined with worry, leans on a crutch and yells a name. But the crowd is too loud and we do not hear it. The cart continues. Soldiers clear the way and keep the crowd at bay. Finally, the cart rolls into a large square. In its center stands the guillotine. The guillotine and the crowd are one, breathing, waiting for something to eat. The cart reaches the base of the guillotine. The defiant person, one of these 5. We see their straight back as they ascend the steps of the guillotine. The executioner steps forward to push them down, but instead they kneel of their own volition. The blade is poised, a shining length of bright steel. The light glints off a small pattern on the blade, concentric circles. The crowd holds its collective breath. Time stands still for an instant, and the blade falls. Thump, clank, thud. 5 years earlier, 1789. Ladies and gentlemen, as I go back to regular light, because I am only good in regular light.
No, that's not true.
You look prettier in dark light.
Yeah.
Oh,
There it is.
yeah, I'm back. A couple things that we need to go through before we actually start into the story itself. A couple bullet points on what to expect here in Grand Paris. We are in the midst of an economic depression. 2 kings ago, Louis XIV basically spent all of France's money. He backed the Americans in the Revolutionary War, which they won, but France lost. He also spent a ton of money building a super castle known as Versailles, 12 miles south of Paris. Bread shortage and starvation are rampant in the city of Paris. There's been floods and cold weather, anything and everything to combine to make this land near starving. With bread being the most staple of all the diets, it is the one that's been affected the most, and the people are hungry in more ways than one. The White Plague, known now as tuberculosis, is ravaging the population. We have an inept and out-of-touch monarchy. Now, Louis XVI, who is too weak, too young, and too stupid, and he's also manipulated at the mercy of smarter and more manipulative men. His wife, the nefarious Marie Antoinette, has become the model of hatred for the aristocracy as she spends money like it is water on very, very frivolous things. There are 3 cultural castes that are very, maybe foreign if you haven't done French before, but the first estate, and each caste, there are 3, are called estates. The first estate is the clergy, the second estate is the nobility, and the third estate is everyone else. The first 2 have all the money and power. The third make up the vast majority of the people and have nothing. The people that you see before you are all soldiers in the army. They too have nothing. They are a step above the poor population, but they are viewed as being a part of the aristocracy because they follow the orders of the aristocracy. So for all intents and purposes, they get all of the negatives and none of the positives. But how else would we start with Cthulhu? June 2nd, 1789, midnight, at the entrance of the Catacombs of Paris. If you're on Roll20, kids, that is location 8 on the map. Now, the catacombs themselves are an old limestone quarry that lie beneath Paris. They have since been reinforced to prevent collapse. And for the last 4 years, they have served as an overflow basin for Paris's graveyards. Disease and filth spread through the city, and ancient centuries-old internment sites have been determined that the corpses there are the cause of most of this suffering, most of this disease. So what has been ordered is that the bodies in the graveyards be removed. They be carried through the city and taken to the catacombs, where they are to be stacked and reinterred. The soldiers that you see right now at midnight during one of these events are on guard duty, and they are watching as the corpses roll in cart after cart. The only other people there is a man by the name of Dr. Rigault, and Dr. Rigault is standing and waiting with a group of workers as the next cart pulls up. The cart is stacked with bodies. The men that are standing with the doctor look little more than the corpses that are on the cart. They are thin. Many of them appear unwell. The doctor himself seems he's overweight, sweating profusely through the powdered makeup. His wig is askew. Yet he is there, hoping that perhaps with the removal of the bodies from the city proper, his job will get a little bit easier. It seems by his face and the tired eyes that he's not sure if he even believes himself. You all are on guard. And your job is to make sure that the priests that are surrounding the carts, waving incense and chanting hymns, do not get attacked. As stated before, the clergy is considered unlikable by the rest of the population. So your job is to guard, and it is to watch. As you are all standing there, taking everything in, I would like you all to tell me what you're doing. How do each of you perform your duty? Are you helping to unload the carts? Are you holding a lantern for someone to go into the catacombs? Are you watching the streets for potential trouble?
Yeah.
And you can introduce yourselves as you decide what you'd like to do.
Quick bit of housekeeping for you, Greg. We
Yep.
all have. You've got a monster to throw at the party, or a villain at some point from the real Dave. MG, we all get nat ones as well, and Latu is donated 70 pounds.
We all get that once, don't worry.
Yeah, let's get the show started. Mounts to a random player. Someone else gets a pet, which is a D100. Everyone is going to get a Wild Magic Surge, and of course, everyone has another crit fail as well. So, for you, Greg, there, things that I'm not tracking: mounts for a player, a pet, and everyone gets a Wild Magic Surge. You can, of course, bring these in whenever you so desire. You don't have to do it right away if you want to have the opening scene.
Okay, let's do this. You say mounts for everybody or mounts for one person?
Mount for one person, pet for one person, Wild Magic Surge for all.
Okay, let's go ahead and hold off on the wild magic surges for just 1 second, and we'll hold off on the pet as well for one moment. What would you all like to do?
I think I'll start off. My chap, Michel, is a young guy. Young soldier, wearing a soldier uniform. He's got a flat cap on, much like myself. I think he would be handsome were it not for the longishness of his face, as depicted here to my side, which lends him something of a horse-like appearance, I think, really judging that picture. But he would be handsome were it not for that. He is currently, carrying the lanterns through and trying to help organize people as best they can. He looks towards his sergeant for approval and for orders, basically, and will try his best to get these clergy folk through. Other than that, though, he doesn't have anything which is particularly odd about his appearance. Soldier's outfit and uniform. He's got a rifle slung on his back right now. And he probably smokes, like it's just like breathing, I imagine we all smoke a hell of a lot.
Right.
Constant smoking.
Yeah, almost
just
constant smoking.
chained.
Yeah, it's
I
very
can smoke
chain
everything.
I actually have a wooden hand, which is a part of my character because he blew it off. I think it's just going to be a lit cigarette all the time. It's just going to be his arm. It's just one giant lit cigarette.
Anachronistic cigarette because they're French.
Right.
They always have them.
Yes, exactly.
No tobacco stains either, which is nice.
No, yeah, I know. It's a what a time to be alive.
Well, the tobacco stains would make the wood look so pretty.
Yeah, it's true. Very well.
Right. You can pay a lot for that
Looking
down, in the Carolinas.
Right.
So as I kind of throw out my cigarette onto the ground and stamp it out and bring the lanterns through, I say, Sergeant, hand over here, please.
Who's the
So that would be me,
That
the guy
is-
who's muted and has
yeah,
been talking
sorry.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that Sergeant Renault would be standing close to the doctor, where all the clergy are kind of gathered around. What is the weaponry of this time frame, Greg?
You're looking at all flintlock
Nice
weaponry,
pistol.
so it's all powder based. Any pistol or rifle has one shot, and mechanically, if we're looking at this in maybe D&D terms or combat round terms, you get a shot, and then it takes you 4 rounds to reload it.
Okay. So he would have none of his weapons drawn because none of them are cool rifles. So he'd be kind of
Revolver, my
sitting
dude. Thank you, dude.
cross-armed, looking around at everybody and just keeping his head on a swivel until he hears Bowman call his name, and he turns, kind of looks around the darkness for him, and raises a lantern up, and then puts it back down on the cart and heads in the direction of Will's character.
You look kind of older, right?
Yeah, he's like 45, so near death at this point in time.
Accurate.
Okay. Powering down.
It's probably something very small, like the lantern wasn't working, or like one of these guys needs a kick up the ass and won't listen to me, sort of thing. So some menial task that I need like a hand with, and pulling the wagon along or something like that. And thank you, Sergeant.
So what have you seen around here today?
A little unrest in the streets, Not many people are too friendly with our clergymen here. Could be that a riot could break out, I suppose, but it looks okay for now.
Yes. I don't like the idea of a riot. I like the idea of these corpses even less. I've seen enough in my time, and just seeing them piled here makes me uncomfortable.
Yes,
The sooner we
Sergeant.
get this done, the better.
Aye, aye.
Let me know if you need anything. And he continues to push this cart with you until you get to the destination. He says, "So, I'm ready to return to my post. If you see anything, let us shout."
Yes, Sergeant.
Eyes on a swivel.
So you guys are helping to push one of the body carts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. What's everybody else doing?
So are we set at post, or are we just or are we kind of helping push carts and stuff?
You can do whatever you'd like. You can push a cart. You can watch the streets. You can enter the catacombs and try to provide, lantern light if you want to. There's torchlight that's apparent down in the catacombs, but it seems that it's well spaced. So you're kind of going into torchlight, a puddle of torchlight, darkness, a puddle of torchlight, darkness. So it seems that it's a little bit difficult for them to negotiate down there. So if you want to increase their productivity, lantern light might help.
Yeah, I'll probably do lantern light. Not because you said it, because I wanted to. I think
Gotcha.
I just want to make that clear. I was gonna use like a rifle and hold a rifle and try to actually be a guard, but I can't because it looks like I've been discharged for combat. So I'm actually gonna that would be the way I could help. Also, I can't hold it because I have a wooden hand. That was blown off in an explosive. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go into the catacombs and provide some lantern light.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, you're able to go down. There are several lanterns that are kind of equipped on the carts. You can pull one of them off, and you can help it down there and follow the guys down. Let's see, it's 2 for Mike.
Thanks, Evan.
As soon as you enter the catacombs, let's go ahead and have you roll your wild magic surge myth, just so we can start working through some of these.
Sweet. Been so long.
Yeah, it's all right, buddy. It still works.
Okay, good.
6701. Ooh. Oh my god. You steal credit for writing a list of 7,000 random effects.
Wait, what was that?
So
That's oddly
Etienne,
specific.
steals credit for writing a list of 7,000 random effects. You wrote your own almost D10,000 table, basically.
Right.
Or so you claim.
Yeah, I was going to, but
Okay, so this is
then
more
you
like
lost
plagiarism.
something I won't implement into my own. channel.
Plagiarized some work, basically. It's claimed work that
Right.
isn't his.
You were going to, but then you lost your hand in war. It was
Exactly.
Blown off by, did I tell you guys it was blown off by?
Did I tell you? I was writing it. It was middle of writing something down.
Right. There is currently a real hand underneath a wooden glove, and it's just a story, right? Some other poor son of a bitch is walking around with a real wooden hand, and Myth is taking the story. Okay. When you get down into the catacombs, you kind of go right to the edge as they kind of are able to kind of meet back up with the torchlight. But when you get down there, it is cold, it is dusty, it smells like death, obviously. Very, spooky in a way that that the streets of Paris are just above you, yet it seems like you were vastly removed from that cosmopolitan scene. It is, in fact, so disconcerting at first that I'm going to have you roll a sanity check.
Is it hearing based?
No, it is not.
Darn. All right, so what am I doing? I'm clicking the button on my thing. Sanity. Bang. I did it.
Okay, so you kind of feel this oppressive drop around you as the earth and level above you seems to just be creeping in, and you dust it off. You've had your hand blown off. I'm not sure if anyone's heard that, but you've been through worse. So you hold the lantern in your good hand and allow the men to work a little bit faster. So we've got 2 on the cart, 1 with the lantern. What's everybody else doing?
Christoph would be standing guard, kind of observing everything, being on the lookout.
Yeah, I think probably Joseph would be with Christoph because Joseph finds Christoph amusing.
Now, what both of you would recognize is this is revolutionary literature. These pamphlets are put up throughout the city to help people become aware of the plight or the struggle to what they wanted was they didn't want to kill the king at this point or do anything like that. What they wanted was a constitutional monarchy very similar to Britain. This was the beginnings of that. Yeah, it was the beginnings of that. And it didn't necessarily end up that way, but we'll get to that. So you guys see that, and you have a few more seconds to do whatever you'd like while we...
Joseph's gonna pass it to Kristoff and say, and just like hand it to him and say, it's a nice dream if they can get it.
If they can get it. He would kind of toss it aside because he has like no hope for this. It's just like, no.
Well,
Would he have known what the third estate was at that moment?
Yeah, everybody knows that the third estate is just the regular population. You guys would be considered...
And then everyone else.
Yeah.
Is this like tennis court oaths yet?
Not quite.
So there's nothing out there yet where they're actively trying to get the king.
Correct. Yeah, the tennis court oath was in October, I believe. So it would be... We're several months off from that yet. We haven't had the Bastille yet or anything like that yet.
All right, no Bastille, no Ladies' March, no. So it's basically...
Yeah, shit, man.
Yeah.
It's basically like they're in the position where like I feel like Joseph's not dumb enough to say out loud that he wants not just a revolution, but literally no king where he's from.
Right. Yeah, it's not time to spout out John Lennon lyrics quite yet, but yeah, it's something that is on a lot of people's minds, but not a lot of people's lips. Thus the printed and unauthored or unsigned pamphlets that kind of pop up, you know, like Who Watches the Watchmen type of shit.
So Joseph's gonna look at Kristoff and be like, you ask me, we're gonna have better luck getting grain this year than we are getting equality.
He'll kind of like laugh to himself and say, I hope for whichever comes first. Preferably a lady would be nice. He's gonna kind of like look around a little bit to see if there's anything going on at night. Probably not.
My friend, if you could find bread like you can find women, we would never go hungry.
And with that, we will switch. We will switch back to. Yeah, yeah. That's all we got time for, everybody.
Guys, that's been it. The
He's
show.
a French. He's a French womanizer.
Oui.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Pass me that question.
The ladies.
Cut me off a piece of that quiche, right? Okay. So
He's hung like a baguette.
right. So crunchy and cuts the mouth. Okay.
Oh my god.
When
All right,
we made
15 minutes in that time.
We did it. We did it, everybody. 15 this time.
Yes.
Okay, so as we kind of pull back a bit from the scene, what I'd like to do is the two gentlemen that were assisting with the cart, I would like you both to roll luck rolls for me.
Great. That's something that me and Mike are renowned for.
Yeah. Stellar luck.
Did I do
Suck it.
I've never done this before. Oh, I did it. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I got hard
both
success.
are very lucky people.
Lucky.
Okay, so as you guys kind of pull back out, at this point, Myth, you kind of pulled out as Babin has pulled out as well. You guys are both looking around, and you're kind of recongregating in front of the entrance to the catacombs. And Dr. Regault is sitting there, and he's just, I mean, to look at him doesn't require a spot hidden roll. This man is unhealthy. He is sweating profusely in this cold air. The powdered makeup is running down his face as he is just adamant about getting these corpses below ground, and he keeps repeating over and over again as if the workers are too dumb to remember this very simple command. But he's sitting there and he, skulls to the left, bones to the right, skulls to the left. Oh, you got it. And he's just sitting there, and he takes a kind of leans up against the wall of the catacombs for a second as he like furiously dabs his head with an incredibly saturated handkerchief. And as you all are sitting there, you hear the clatter of hooves from about 15, 20 feet off, and you all look up just in time to see a carriage appear. The carriage is moving at such a rate against the stone that it has steel or metal rimmed wheels, and they are creating sparks along the stone as it rides through. It is traveling at an incredible rate, and it is headed directly towards the line of workers as they are sitting there like carrying corpses and bones and skulls across from their cart into the catacomb. It's going to bisect that line, and there are currently 3 workers in the way as this cart just screams out of nowhere. The horses as the sparks are spraying off the sides of it.
Like?
I don't know. I'm not going to do it again because my throat hurts. I'm going to drink a little bit while you guys figure out what you're going to do.
Do we see anyone coming out from this?
You see, you can all roll spot hiddens for me and let me know who gets the lowest, which is the best result. But at this point, it's like a darkened, shadowy carriage, and it's just heading right for the workers.
Got a hard success.
Okay, tell me who gets the lowest.
That
You're just gonna kill me
would be
now.
Yeah, I rolled lowest. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're sitting there and as everything goes by, you all see this. There is a driver clad in black wearing a mask that is pulled up to just above the nose, and he's got a tricorn hat that's down shading his eyes. You also see that the carriage is white and it's trimmed with red. And Will, your character sees this. As you're sitting there for a second and watching as it hits the line, your character cannot react in the following because you do get a chance to see the following. You see a man, an aristocrat, sitting in the carriage as it goes by. He is deeply kissing a woman. And as the open window of the carriage passes, the man looks up. His eyes lock with yours, and I need you to roll a power check for me, please.
Good.
Power couple.
Power couple. Here we go.
Yep. Power couple.
That is an extreme success.
Okay, so everything freezes, everything stops. The clacking of the hooves, the movement of the clergy, even the wisps of smoke that are coming from the incense burners hang in the air. The workers, as they're turning in fright at the stampeding horse that's coming right at them. And for a moment, you and this aristocrat lock eyes. And for a moment, you feel your will, something inside you buckling. But at the same time, there's a strength in you that supports this. And as you look back, the eyes of the aristocrat widen slightly, and a grin curls up one side of his face. And a flash, and it's gone. Is anybody else going to do anything about the fact that there are workers in the path? You can make a move to do something. I would require a dex roll to do so.
Christoph would have attempted to push them out of the way or something.
Yeah. I guess we're close enough, right? Since
Yeah.
we're just kind of we're not doing anything. Yeah. So what is it? A strength or no dex?
Yep, dex check.
All right. Oh nope.
Okay.
I failed every roll.
Good intentions, bad results.
Yeah.
You're so close though.
We were like, it's kind of like it's so bad that it
do you-
looks like we were fake trying to help.
Have you played Call of Cthulhu before?
Yes, I was going to say she can lucky this if you'd like. You have a lucky pool in your character sheet, and mechanically what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is you are gifted with a certain amount of luck points to begin the game. Occasionally, I, as keeper, will call game.
Yeah,
The game. The whole game.
Not session. Yeah. Okay.
Not session, the whole game. So if you decide to use some of those luck points, you can subtract them from your luck total, add them to the roll to make it a success, but you are no longer capable of having those luck rolls for your main total. So this is a kind of a permanent erasure of your luck, like that band too. And if you'd like to erase 3 of them, you can succeed on this and kind of reconstruct the dex roll to be in your favor. Yep.
Or you
Yep.
can lose your hand like me. I'm not sure if I mentioned that.
I get run over probably by how bad that fail was.
No, you just we'll get to it in a second. So if you want to use those 3,
How many?
Julia,
So my luck is like what? Like where's my luck pool?
It's on the
on your character
left-hand
sheet.
side of your character
Yeah.
sheet, underneath
it's like
your
under
wounds.
hit points.
Yeah.
It says luck.
Oh, it just says like so mine's at 60.
So you just deduct 3 and then
Yep.
you would succeed.
Yeah, sure. I mean like common man and all that shit. Yeah.
Well, don't do like I did and hold them all to the end. I never used luck.
All right, we're gonna let's do it. Let's be like Joseph's a little lucky and Joseph's doesn't like the clergy probably, but feels for the workers. So let's subtract those 3. And so I guess go down to 57, right?
Yep, you go down to 57, and what this means is the following. So as Joseph and Christoph reach for these 2 workers, Joseph is successful in grabbing the collar and kind of horse collaring the person back just as the horse rips through the 2 other people. Christoph grabs hold of a shirt, but it tears away as it's half rotten, and it left holding the fabric as they watch as the horse runs over these 2 people. And what that means for both of them is there are 2 dying men crushed under the wheels of this sparked carriage. For a moment, Michelle is sitting there and he can't even move as he's still trying to pull back from all of this. And seeing all of this, the rest of the workers scream and curse, "Damn Aristos!" as this carriage peels off into the night, and Dr. Regault pulls himself off the wall and stumbles forward and drops down to the 2 the workers, and he's furiously trying to save their lives. But a few moments pass, and with blood up to his elbows, some of it wiped across his face as he's tried to wipe the sweat out of his eyes, both men are gone.
Shit.
I think while he's down there looking at these 2 people, Renault kind of goes up and he shakes Michel back to his senses and reassigns him to whatever task he was doing before kind of kneeling over and talking to the Dr. Regault about is he able to save these men, that kind of thing. And when he isn't, he kind of motions over to whoever's standing nearby. I assume like Christoph and that other one, Huggle? Yeah,
Huggle.
Joseph.
And he nearby.
Huggle. And he like grabs the boots. He grabs boots of one of the workers and like motions for someone to help him lift and add these corpses to the pile of corpses they're moving.
Corpine.
Yeah.
Can we like? Is there any way to kind of like, I don't know what the Call of Cthulhu perception check, like get a feel for the atmosphere of the workers to see if they've gone from like drudging workers to really pissed off?
Yeah, absolutely. This would, anytime that you guys want to ask for a roll, you can always do so. I will ask for them whenever I need one, but you can do one anytime. And for just a general perception of them, you can do 2 things. You can do you can do a spot hidden just to kind of see if they are, wearing their emotions on their sleeves, so to speak, or you can do a psychology or a psychoanalysis roll if you want to kind of get into a state of their own mind.
Freud's not alive yet, so Joseph's not that good at psychology. So we're gonna go spot hidden and fail. So
you can also talk to the guy you saved.
Oh yeah, I'm also gonna. Yeah, I'm really. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
What I'll do is, if you would like to talk to him, I will give you advantage on. How about a persuasion check? To see, because you're still viewed as a soldier, but you did just save his life, and he saw what happened to the 2 of his friends that did not have a Joseph pulling them by the collar.
All right, persuasion. God, there's so many things. Okay.
There's a million of them. You'll get used to it.
Ooh.
And you can roll it again too, since you have
nice.
advantage.
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 There you are.
Damn it, Greg.
Excellent. That's like Spanish. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Get out.
Yeah.
Tried.
I'll take my
Wrong revolution.
turn in my wig.
Turn in your wig.
Okay. So with a persuasion check, as you're sitting there, you get bits and pieces of information because the man's obviously in shock. He saw 2 of his co-workers' friends just trampled, and there doesn't seem to be anything really being done about that. The rest of the men are standing there kind of hands on hips. The look in all of their eyes is more just a general, almost macabre acceptance of this is just how things are. I mean, this is the only job they could get. They're carrying corpses into a catacomb. If they've reached the lowest, the next thing is the death of their families and starvation. So in seeing these 2 people, you see that there is a bit, a flash, a touch of sentiment or emotion or compassion in this man's voice, but the majority of it is a resignation of, I need as many hours to work as I can. And he pulls himself up and begins to go and grab corpses and starts carrying them back down into the catacombs.
Also, Urban Lady knows £10. Everyone gets an advantage to use, and Greg gets 5.
Yeah, baby.
One advantage to use, so like an inspiration in D&D, a reroll basically.
Yep.
I think once Renault and Christoph get these bodies onto a cart, adding them to the pile, Renault kind of stands in whatever makes for the center or the most central point of this conglomerate of workers, and he says, "Gentlemen, who here is in charge? Which of you take ownership for this lot?"
Dr. Regal pulls himself off the ground and he says, "I hired them."
Do you know their names?
No.
As I said, which of you is in charge of you? Who knows their names? Who knows a name? And he points to the two corpses, the two fresh corpses added to the pile.
The man that was saved by Joseph steps forward and he says, "Henri and Thomas."
And he takes out a piece of parchment and writes down their names. He says, "Do they have family?
No.
Do they have next of kin? Anyone that have missed them?"
Henri has an aunt, I believe, but I do not know where.
Free nat
He's writing this all down.
20s for Greg from Latu, by the way.
God damn it.
Thanks, buddy.
He says he writes all this information down. He kind of rolls up the parchments and sticks it back in the interior of his coat. He says, "I will see that someone is told of this. They'll earn their wages."
He, once again, the same thing that Joseph saw, that hint of compassion, but every day is like the other, and he just goes back to work.
There's definitely a sadness in Michelle's eyes. He looks at all of this and the hopelessness of his sergeant and the situation.
Michelle, the other thing is, as you've been sitting here and after the moment that you had with the passenger in the carriage, something in your mind strikes as this scene being familiar and you don't know why. I'd like you to roll a no roll for me, or an intelligence roll for me, please.
Okay.
They roll a no roll.
Yeah.
No roll.
Don't roll.
No roll this one.
Yeah, if you can figure that out, you win. Cthulhu, right?
That is a success as well. I'm 5 for 5.
Nice. Okay, so this is what you get, Will. You realize that you have actually seen this carriage before, but you do not know the owner. When you were stationed outside of Paris one time, you've seen it traveling you've seen it traveling on a forest road through the west to a town called Nanterre, with the same type of hell-bent disregard for anybody in its way, traffic, whatnot, and that kind of brought you back around as you had a moment to kind of collect yourself. So you remembered that, you've seen this white carriage with the red trim before,
Okay.
but damned if you know who owns it.
I also found a potted chap, nat 20 for myth. Thank you, buddy.
Ooh.
Flat hand. I won't mention this to my sergeant. As you kind of pull away from the men who just start pulling the bodies back into the caverns, I say, "Sergeant, that carriage, I've seen it before. There was something similar happened before. That man, whoever is in there, he is very dangerous. My
Where
heart."
have you seen this carriage before?
I was stationed outside of Paris, and I swear that I saw it there.
Do you know who it belongs to?
Not for the life of me, Sergeant, but some noble who cares not for the lives of the common man.
Greg, would I know you said it was a white carriage trimmed in red?
Yep.
Would I know the heraldry, or would I know it? Does that an aristocratic house or a clergyman's house? Is that a color that I would recognize?
If you can roll a hard intelligence check, I will give you some information.
My God.
I didn't.
Right.
Welcome to Cthulhu,
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
where no one wins ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Right.
If you could figure out how to read the die roll, You're on the right track.
Let me know.
Yeah, I guess a quick thing.
And then you still failed.
A quick thing for everyone that's going to watch this on YouTube and ask me in the comment section. So they're going to ask me anyway because now it's just 20 minutes in. But hey, so like, first one is easy on the left, right? You're trying to get lower than that 75, and then the next number is half of that, which is hard, right? So you're trying to get under 37. Then the third one is an extreme. So Greg might say this is an easy roll, you're trying to get under 75, or he might say this is a hard roll, trying to get under 37. If you're an extreme roll, you're under 15. So Mike rolled a 53. If it was a normal check, he would have succeeded that because his score is 75. But because it was a hard check, he had to get under 37. He rolled 53. He failed.
Yeah.
Word,
and for those of
right.
us playing, if you click the green button, that rolls the simplified roll, which is what I just rolled, as opposed to the crazy one that Will just rolled.
Yeah,
What?
please, roll the green button. It'll help you guys out to. It makes it much smaller too when you go through. Yeah, but Will's exactly right. So basically, in a nutshell, for those of you fresh and new to Cthulhu, the lower the roll is better. All percentages, half and a quarter, and all that good stuff. So I will call out the scores as we go for what do you need to be below, or what I need going forward. Okay, you can remember something, Mike, that this is a kind of a unique setup, this white with red trim, but it would require further investigation. It's not something that you can just kind of pull out of your memory banks. It's
Okay.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
something
sticks out as not the norm.
right. It's definitely, you know, this is a, you know, a 57 Chevy with flames on the side of it that, you know, so it's something that is different.
Yeah, he looks back to Michelle and says, would you recognize the man if you saw him again?
I don't think that face is going to leave me anytime soon, Sergeant. He locked eyes with me. It was the most uncomfortable look he gave me.
Well, this needs to go to Captain Milan. These two men died under our watch. I'm going to need you there as well. Describe the man you saw.
Of course,
Perhaps we
Captain.
can come to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I sketch in my books. Perhaps I could sketch his face.
If you could, please, that would greatly assist.
At this point, because there has been no next of kin identified, you notice that Dr. Regault has actually had several of the workers take the corpses of the workers down into the catacombs as well. You have about 50...
Immediately.
Good guy. Immediately. Just took them right down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
might as well.
Renault put them on
Already
top
there.
of the corpse
Yeah.
carts. Like,
Yeah.
that's really what
I
he
mean,
expected to happen anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
So as they are taken down, the ones that were just moments ago carrying corpses are now themselves being carried. They are deposited in there, and about a half hour passes, and you see all of the men that are currently in the catacomb come running out. And they are looking down into the catacombs. Some of them are holding torches that they have pulled off the sconces and kind of looking down in. One of them throws one of the torches in, and the rest of them lean and look down in. And Dr. Regault runs up and he says, "What are you doing? We must continue this." And one of the workers, the one that Joseph had saved, turns around and says, "There's something down there. It's
Now, are they
watching
running?
us."
Are they running out in like terror? Is it
They're-
visible terror?
For men that have nothing left, for men that have no emotion or no real will to live other than I need to get this work done to survive or keep my family alive, they're showing the most emotion that you've seen so far this night. They don't necessarily look terrified, as they just don't feel like being down there anymore. It's like a repulsion.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Like Joseph has a good rapport with that kid. Can he go up and be like, and get him to tell him more?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you can walk up.
So
No roll or anything, go
no,
ahead.
no. What's down there? What did you see?
Something we saw, heard clattering, and eyes was watching us.
Eyes?
Eyes? Oh.
She's gonna look at this. He's gonna look at the sergeant, sorry, and be like, "These men are on death every day. It might do us well to believe them."
You really think there's something down there?
Don't.
Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to let them be worked up for too long about anything. We could go down there, make a check, walk around, come back when there's nothing, and they'll go back to work.
Greg, the pile of corpses the Corpi, as it said.
Corpi, yep. Thank you.
Are they?
The pie.
Corpi Maximus, rest.
Is this just a wagon of nude corpses?
Yes.
Okay. Do I assume we've been on
just
this
for my
before.
personal reasons.
Yeah, I just need to know. That was just for me.
All right, unrelated. Anyway,
Visualize.
I'll send you a sketch later.
I'm asking for a friend.
Please do. Having been on this right now, I assume this isn't the first time we've done this kind of work.
Right.
How common would
Maybe the
Renault
first time.
think that grave robbers are, especially in a place where you just pile corpses?
Or
are they stripped of all of their stuff?
You're right. You would know that if there's any grave robbery to happen, it would happen in the cemeteries. This is a mass excavation, or they're pulling all the poor people out of the cemeteries and throwing them in a big hole, basically. Okay. And the big hole being the catacombs beneath Paris. So, you would think that there's nothing really to rob down there, but again, people are desperate.
Yeah. Kind of agreeing with Joseph that this needs to be checked on. He kind of draws his saber. Do we have Dupuy with us? Is he just here as an NPC hanging out somewhere?
Me, and Dupuy?
Yeah, Dupuy is an NPC, but he is currently not with you. He did not report for duty this evening.
Sure. Suspicious. He writes that down. Yeah, he kind of looks to Regault. He says, "Stay here," and he makes like he's going towards this thing, and just kind of announces loudly so that all the workers can hear, and especially his troops. It's likely to be some kind of an animal down here. The eyes you saw. There's a lot of meat in the catacombs.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
Sure.
Michelle looks like fucking terrified by this, by the way.
Alphabets.
I think I probably made my way out of where I was.
I'm going to follow the workers
I feel like I've just been back there being like, everybody good? And then shit's happening like outside. And I'm like, we good?
You guys
all right.
good?
I mean, Joseph's down to send someone else into those catacombs. He's not going with anybody.
Christoph would check it out.
Yeah, I think Michelle's really scared, but he is like unwaveringly loyal to the sergeant, so he probably feels like a great sense of honor for his country to do this.
Joseph's gonna...
He didn't ask anyone to come with him.
Crowd control.
I'm just a brave man. All right.
Are you just gonna seize the opportunity and be like, yeah, I'll go?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's going down? Dr. Regault, as soon as the sergeant says that they're going down in there, he seems satisfied by that, and he says, just hurry. We need to get these corpses, these bodies, down into the catacombs. And the men, whenever the sergeant says something, they seem to appreciate that he's going down there, but at the same time, they're not convinced that they'll be going back down there. So who's going down there?
So Renault is headed down there.
Yeah, I kind of take a big gulp, and I'm like, Sergeant, I will follow you. And I look to Christoph as well, who is someone definitely Michelle looks up to because he's like a ladies' man, and I'm playing Michelle's quite young. Looks towards Christoph and sees that he's going as well, kind of puffs himself up and follows behind.
Your character's older than mine.
I'm playing him young.
Okay. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Fuck the pre-gen. Fuck the pre-gen.
Not my character.
You're saying not my character, right? Right, Haley, still look at my character.
Michelle, right.
Hashtag, guys, start that going. Hashtag not my Michelle. And since Renault kind of has a lower impression of names of Joseph anyway, he kind of looks back to you and says, make yourself useful, at least keep guard out here, as he heads down inside.
Ouch.
Joseph's gonna turn around, look at the crowd and say, there's no resurrection men stupid enough to go down there. It's probably just some feral dogs that you saw. They're gonna go take care of them.
Someone should go. It's not gonna be me.
I'll go.
Consummate survivor.
I'll do this. I'll go there.
Okay,
I feel like we're breaking the rule of splitting the party.
It's fine. I'm perfectly fine with
it.
it.
One that doesn't want to go.
It's Cthulhu. It's Cthulhu.
It's Cthulhu. You're gonna die anyway. There are no rules in Cthulhu.
No rules. I'm gonna die anyway. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die with the mob. So let's.
Are you coming?
When you do that voice,
fine.
Smith.
Joseph's gonna sigh and just gonna go. And look at the
Kristoff's gonna like
doctor.
pat him on the back, like, good man, let's go.
Yeah, there's definitely more respect in Michelle's eyes towards Joseph now. But, by the way, Biff, whenever you do that voice, I'm taken back to those 24-hour streams where we were already drunk and you did that gay pirate voice, and it was just incredible.
It was Bertio. It was Bertio.
Also, nat 20 for Haley from Lauren. Thank you, Lauren.
Yay, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Subtly gay, like at like really like unopportune times. It's like what? It's not something we do. Anyway.
Okay, so you're all going down in.
Yes.
Leaving
Yes.
Dr. Regalt and the
Gonna
workers
pat the
behind.
Good doctor on his sweaty back and
Yes, it's better if we go together. If there is an animal down here, then we can see to it. So,
Okay.
Did you just say we speak to it?
No, deal with it. And I like wipe sweat from my brow.
What you say? Speak with it.
So Renault would be leading then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Renault, Saber out. Okay. So as you're walking down, you guys now experience
Thanks, Savage.
everything that Babin experienced when he took the lantern down. You see that there are these low ceilings. It's not built for travel or commerce or, the transportation of any mode whatsoever. This was a mining limestone quarry that has been converted into a vast mausoleum now. So as you guys go in with this low ceiling and this almost choking limestone infused dust, it gets to each of you for a moment. And everybody but Myth, roll me a sanity check as you are entering the caverns beneath Paris.
Like that. Boom.
Woo!
That's
I only
Nice.
passed something. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know that's the one that you should pass. Will, what did you get, buddy? Did you pass that?
What roll was that? Sorry, I was reading something.
Do we choose to use these
Sanity.
fails?
So
Sanity.
nat 20s are for players to use, nat 1s are for Greg to tell us when they come in,
Okay,
basically.
okay.
Right.
So there it is. Green. Nope, that's a fail from me.
Okay, so anybody that failed, please deduct 1 from your sanity total as the collapse and the crush and the claustrophobic nature of the catacombs beneath Paris gets to you a little bit, and your breath catches a bit as dust kind of collects in the back of your mouth as it goes through your nose, gets inside, and for a moment you have to settle down as one of the others kind of puts a calming hand on your shoulder and redirects you to the task at hand.
Are you saying that every time I get a panic attack or an anxiety attack in real life, I'm losing sanity points?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am absolutely. According to my shrink, that is exactly what's happening.
All right, watchers and viewers, don't get panic attacks or else you'll lose sanity.
You'll lose your mind.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
What my
Exactly.
doctor
And then
said
Cthulhu
today.
will come to get
Don't get
you.
anxious, don't get
And then
worried.
you'll get eaten by an alien demon thing
Yeah.
that no one could really fathom.
And if that doesn't give you anxiety, you've won.
As long as they have
Exactly.
flesh, right? That's my only requirement.
That doesn't
They
give you
can't have
anxiety. Take a
plots,
look
and
at
they
how to
have
read.
Flesh.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah, Xanax, today's laudanum. Anywho, I like how Haley's the only one that gets that yet. You guys look at the end of this.
You'll love Laudanum. You'll
Laudanum's
be hooked
great.
on it.
It's,
Okay, so as you guys
it's
go
my
down-
favorite form of opium.
right?
I've only
It's
ever
my
had good
opioid of
experiences in Call of Cthulhu of Laudanum.
I had nightmares, dude.
I feel like I should rim a glass of a cocktail with laudanum.
We need to make our own cocktail that's just like
The laudanum.
the laudanum
Laudanum.
for drinking on stream at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Drink to that.
I love it. I
Day
couldn't be happier
drinking
with
in
it.
Call of Cthulhu, they go hand in hand.
Hey, it's nighttime over here, guys, so you guys can drink along with me. It's okay.
All right.
Oh,
will
as
do.
long as it is literally nighttime somewhere.
Yeah, it's
We're down.
5 o'clock
Have
somewhere.
this.
That's the rule.
I can start drinking now.
Okay, so as you guys go down in, it is shadowy and dark in here. The sounds of Paris fade away. The talking of the workers, the mumbling, the whispers, did you see what that was? The eyes. And Dr. Regalt's heavy breathing as the man seems, feet from death. It all fades away as you get deeper into the catacombs. The flickering of the torchlight reaches the end, and at this point you can see the stacked up bodies. You see the 2 men that have just been run over and killed lying on top. They're the only ones wearing clothing in a vast array of skeletons, skulls, partially decomposed corpses, and them being very fresh, lying on top of this almost looks like cordwood, stacked and stacked and stacked, piles and piles of skulls off to the left and the bodies off to the right as Dr. Regald had ordered everyone. I would like everyone to roll a listen check for me, please.
Also found a 4 brand, nat 20s for myself and Joseph, but nat 1 for Mike.
It's a crit 11.
They do not.
Crit 11, actually, yep, you're right.
It's 11, which is just as bad. Actually, that's pretty good. It's actually really good.
Go on, do that.
Uh,
Do you need all of us to roll so no, Greg, mate?
Listen, please.
Sorry, that's ironic, isn't it?
We all suck.
Sorry.
Right? This is something
Your
I'm
only
good at.
chance.
It's another one of those.
That's
instances.
another success. Guys, I swear to God,
yeah.
I am 6 for 6 in Call of Cthulhu right now.
nice.
I'm
I'm gonna
really-
jinx
That
it.
Will is literally deaf
It's-
according to his listen score, and he's like, ah,
This is
I
what,
hear the rats in the walls.
this is what happens though. If I'm a keeper for any amount of time, I get more power in when I'm playing, you see.
We need more
Ah,
donations
okay.
so that Will just is
Bullshit.
forced to screw up.
Yeah. Fails
Get on
for
that.
Will.
Okay,
First
so
to die we've already picked.
as you're all sitting there, Michelle, as you're still thinking about the man in the carriage,
Yeah.
still thinking about everything, you hear a skitter off behind the pile of bones to the right.
Something skitters. I kind of point my rifle in that direction and say, "Over there! I heard something. Could be a rat or a dog
Where?
or something worse, a ghost."
Show me. Where?
I shove my gun in that direction. Put a light over there.
Yeah. It's just a lantern. I can't shine anymore because it's a lantern. Yeah.
I love the sound that you're
Just
doing
move the
something
direction.
French noises to make sure that
He's trying. It's all he can do right
This
now.
is-
He
this
has
is-
only one hand.
this is to help
And
Lowe's-
It blew off.
those at home just listening. on
Aren't you
audio.
also in like the back of the group and you're just like,
Hold on. Out of the way. Out of the way. Let me get to the front. Yeah. Yeah. There you are.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm
Hold
important.
on.
I am important.
We could light his wooden hand on fire.
You will never
No,
do
it's
that.
it's constantly a cigarette anyway.
7.
I need that.
It's already on fire. You just
As he has his hand pull up, his wooden hand pull up an unlit cigarette.
Okay,
As he
so
lights it off with the lantern.
as you guys are all discussing exactly how his hand is going to burst in the flame, Michelle, you hear something off to the left behind the skull pile.
There. And I point over in every direction, swinging around wildly. To the left.
Oh, there. Oh, there. Here.
It's like a fucking audio book.
And as he swings his rifle, Renault kind of catches it and lowers his rifle so he doesn't fire and shoot any of his friends. He says, relax. It's a small area. The shot alone would ring out an echo, would cause you to be deafened. Calm down. And he kind of
What?
lowers the rifle down. You're missing a hand. Your ears are fine.
There's something over there, Sergeant. Something in the rubber.
This is like a pile of skulls, Greg.
Yep. There's a pile of skulls on the left, several piles of skulls, pile of bones to the right, and you're stuck in the middle.
It might
With
be
you?
might be a rat or something else.
Yeah. Taking that, he kind of like pulls out a handkerchief, covers his face, and with his saber, he kind of pulls one of the lower skulls out, trying to make the pile topple over, and see what the hell's running around behind it.
Roll a luck roll for me.
Great.
Christoph does want to draw his rapier as well.
Okay.
It's rapier, I believe.
Rapier.
Rapier.
yeah.
Whatever.
Oh,
Please.
Rapier.
my rapier.
Rapier.
I'll get out my rapier.
Come get me, Greg.
All right,
Okay.
Wallace.
Do this in bad
You
Southern
sound like a rouge neck.
Okay. So as you bringing it all back in, the rouge neck is perfect, but you sons of bitches.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We get things done here.
No, I'm trying.
Did
The
you
chat,
just
I'm
come
trying. I
into the
swear.
game? We just came to be idiots. Sorry.
You voted for
Okay,
this.
sons of bitches, let's do this. As you pull the skull from the bottom, and it's almost like a grocery store pile of skulls. You pull out the bottom, toilet paper, they all fall. You get that just to happen as you pull one of the skulls out by the ocular cavity with the tip of your sword. As it drops and the skulls reset and lower about 2 or 3 feet, you see exposed a creature devoid of any type of hair. It looks almost like a hairless wolf with a vaguely human face and yellow eyes. As it turns, looks directly at you and leaps. First off, I'd like everybody to roll sanity checks, as you are seeing something that is definitely not human.
Capitan!
Lana and Barley, where's this? Hey, I'm not insane yet.
Now I'm going insane.
I love it. The first time I get Will.
Yeah, it's a hyperallergenic dog.
Oh, there it is.
4 sanity lost for Michelle.
Oh,
This
shit.
thing.
Oh my god, that's a crit.
No, it's not. It's the opposite.
That's a crit
Get
fail.
correct.
100 is a
Wing
fumble.
it.
Did our sergeant just like go insane?
We
No,
double
that
that
was
to
low. I'm
2.
fine.
So you lose 2 sanity points on that roll, Myth. So it worked out all right for you.
Oh god.
As you guys are sitting there, both Babin and Michelle are frozen as they see this creature, this skinless Ghostbusters 1 looking creature that's flesh colored. It looks very similar to the pale pallor of the 2 men that had just been brought down here. As it turns and looks up, and as it looks up, a chunk of flesh dangles in its mouth, and you see that it is part of a hand with 2 fingers hanging out of the mouth as it scoops them up. And as it leaps towards our good sergeant, roll a saber attack to see if you can knock this thing aside, my friend.
Yeah, I think the first thing he does is he kind of like steps back, saber out, skull topbles off to the side with that hollow knocking noise. And knowing that it's just sabre. Knowing that
Thank you.
Thomas,
Michelle still had his rifle out. He steps away. Michelle, fire now!
No, don't fire. You're gonna make us deaf.
Yeah, I'm gonna
We're all like, no.
Yeah.
bayonet probably.
I'll bayonet. I can like. I got my bayonet. I can help.
Yeah.
So he's gonna slash out of this thing, seeing that a fire does not happen. And I succeed.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so you
Suck it, naked
succeed
dog.
in
Wow.
slashing across the creature.
You're not the
and it
first one to say
can-
that here.
Yep. Just another day.
You slash across the creature. It wails in pain. Some of the one of the fingers comes out of its mouth and goes flying as it jumps on top of you and attacks. And let's see just what it can do.
Pass. Pass.
Nope, I pass. You can't do it. I pass.
I don't want. I disbelieve.
I disbelieve this narrative.
Okay, so it strikes you for 5 damage as its claw rakes across the front of your uniform. As you hit it with the saber, it lands in front of you and just rakes across. What is everyone else doing? You can go in any order you'd like, and we will keep that order for the rest of this little scenario. The only people that cannot go at this point are Babin and Michelle, who are frozen for this round.
I feel like Joseph's has got the bayonet skills and is gonna like from dealing with riots would have a bayonet affixed like literally all the time, and would reach out to like
Bayonet a bitch.
Bayonet a bitch, yeah.
Bayonet
Joseph-
eventually.
I love
Joseph,
that video game.
Joseph's gonna
Yeah.
bayonet
My
a bitch.
ex-girlfriend, yeah.
So I guess I just roll. Do I have to actually roll attack roll? Can I just hit the green button next to bayonet?
That is correct. Yes, you can do that.
Okay. Well, Joseph's not gonna do so well. It's gonna bayonet a bitch and
A naked bitch.
Okay, so Joseph runs forward, and the bayonet comes forward, and the creature reaches up with a very human-like hand, grabs the bayonet, and rips it off to the side, making it miss its mark. Christoph.
He would charge forward to attack as well.
Oh, you're rapier.
I'm
Nice.
a PA.
Okay, so what Renault would see as this creature is in front of it, slicing down, it throws the bayonet off to the side. All of a sudden, this rapier pierces through its neck as Christoph is standing there, very D'Artagnan, with the womanizing and the rapier, and he pulls it out as the creature drops to the ground. And
Very D'Artagnan of you.
yeah, and as soon as it hits, it begins to smoke.
Not like
The
not
creature or the
backing
hole?
up.
not a cigarette, presumably.
Everything, yeah. It starts at the hole and begins to smoke, as all good smoking does. And
That was
then-
good for me. Was it good for you?
Good insertion.
Damn it. So I think Renault is
Why
like
does this
scrambling
happen?
back away from this smoking corpse. It being a corpse for one thing, but most corpses don't just, lay on fire.
Christoph would kind of like bring him to his feet to kind of like steady him to kind of back up.
Yeah, I break free of my moment where I just like froze, and I'm like, Sergeant, are you okay? Are you okay? I like dust him down, and
Yeah, and he kind of like he
Backing
kind of like
away.
yeah, he kind of sternly looks at you and says, "What was that? What are you doing?"
some
Stood there.
I think Joseph wants to poke it.
What? Smoking?
I'm sorry,
Well,
Captain.
with the bayonet, I mean,
All of us here?
This is France.
Put it back in your pants.
after all,
When in France.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
Put our demons to the test.
My Lord, tie a noose around your neck, Sherry, and we'll provide service.
Try the smoking beast. It's delicious.
Silver blade, guillotine.
Don't believe me? Ask these bitches. But no, okay.
Chad, if you didn't think there was going to be a musical Cthulhu episode, you were fucking wrong. You were wrong.
Dead
Use
wrong.
this
Yeah.
clip so that I can send it everywhere.
Okay, so as you go to poke this creature with your bayonet, it is beginning to become it's turning gaseous as its skin and everything seems to both melt and then evaporate at the same time.
I just what is that? How can that be?
What
this
is happening?
probably didn't escape from the palace.
What?
That is very strange.
This
That is
is no
a
palace dog.
the tomb.
A couple moments later, and it's gone.
Did it leave anything behind at all, or it's just gone?
Fat loot.
There's this Pat Six.
Is there loot on the ground?
Their loot. Can I check
Pile
his
of gold.
pocket?
There's a pile of
Box.
clothes, right?
Chest.
Do I get a brand new gun from its dead body that I can use?
Right. No. And there's no upgrade equipment.
Not
there's
even
no-
ammo. Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
We
I
get 2
quit.
This is
arrows.
why we didn't shoot it, because we weren't gonna get our ammo back.
Yeah.
Very
That's,
Trash
we knew
mob.
it. Trash month. All right. So, what was that? What? Anybody have any idea what that demon was?
That is a demon. Some kind of ghost dog, maybe. Sergeant, have you ever seen anything like that?
He had
I'm
drawn.
not. What's
His
wrong? You
saber
swore there for a second.
I did. I had a
You just muted to say.
You said words we've never seen we've never said on this channel before.
Yeah, I had to mute it.
It was in French. It's okay.
It was French cuss words. You wouldn't
Oh, it was
understand,
actually
so,
you
yeah.
doing an accent.
Yeah.
That always
I like how it was easier for you to mute yourself than stop talking.
Well, I did. What happened was I clicked the screen and my mouse was over the mute button. And I was like, God damn it.
I've done
Yeah,
that.
he has Saber still out. You can see that it's kind of like lowering as the comprehension of whatever the fuck this is kind of washing over him. And his face kind of resembles the way Michelle's face was in stunned shock
Yeah.
as everyone's kind of looking at him for answers. And he looks to, I have never seen that before. Michelle, can you draw this?
As I could, Sergeant. I'm not sure that I want to, but yes.
I don't even know who I would ask about this.
Maybe the doctor or the physician, maybe.
I think this is probably actually a case for a priest.
The doctor seems like he's about to die any day now. I
Seems
would ask
all
him
right.
anything.
I start sketching what I saw in my little notebook next to the face of the nobleman.
He kind of clears his throat and looks through and says, listen. It was nothing but an animal. That's what
Or
we'll
did
tell
you s-
everyone. No. That's what we'll tell everyone out there. It was an animal. It's been
Right.
disposed of. We complete this, get all the corpses moved down here. We finish this job.
And if there are
Understood.
more,
Christoph wants to look to see if there were more. And
You
then
volunteering to stay down here.
Did you
Just
see his
glance
hands?
around real quick.
No, he says to when Joseph says, "Are there more?" So you volunteering to stay here?
Okay, I was like, I'm gonna look.
You can roll a spot hidden for me, Christoph, if you're looking around.
Okay.
Did you see the creature's hands? It didn't have paws like a dog. It had hands, and he holds up his wooden hand.
It had paws.
It's just in this.
I would kill.
I would kill him like that.
You guys have no idea, but every time he has a different
Opposable
expression,
thumbs.
the hand reflects it. So that's the plagiarism wild magic surge. When he goes, "Are we okay?" The hand's like this, like, like
It's one of those old action figures that you can take the hands off to change the hand gesture.
He's got like two
He's an
copies of
action
hands on a belt.
It's like the Captain Hook, and he just like
Right.
swivels it on.
he's looking around, and it's like,
If he points, he has to swap it out with the pointer finger.
But it just happens. He doesn't know how it's happening.
He
just does it.
in all his hand.
It's awful.
Okay, so spot hidden fail. Okay.
Yeah, when he says he doesn't have paws, it shows it's just got a paw for a hand.
It looks like a paw, right?
You're like, what the?
Right. Okay, so as you all are sitting there having this discussion, as Christoph is looking off into the darkness, Christoph, you hear, "We are not all like that one."
Hello. He would kind of like whisper back, like, "Hello."
Do we hear Christoph whisper?
Yeah, you hear him saying something. You can't make out what he's saying because he's kind of off a little bit. And Christoph, you see yellow eyes blinking in the just out of the lantern light. "We are not all like that one.
What are you?
We are sons of France."
And how are you different than that one?
"We only eat the dead."
Do we hear this? Is it just?
I'm gonna
Christoph?
go.
Is it? Is it just? Is it?
Yeah,
Leave.
does everyone hear this
Did you-
at this point?
You can roll a listen check. If you succeed, you can hear it.
Sure.
That gives me time to figure out what the hell I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I succeed.
I succeed. I really succeed. I've heard this whole conversation.
Yeah, you caught it.
What is it? We're listening?
Listen,
I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah, this-
Joseph's gonna, like, in the pause, Joseph's gonna walk over to Christoph and say,
Perfect.
on par.
You're too caught up in your own hand stuff. Like,
yeah.
What are you saying?
Hashtag hands.
Yeah.
It's a cup. It turns into like the big sonophone or whatever.
Always off screen. Something it changes.
Yeah. Myth is all of a sudden Inspector Gadget. Like
Yeah.
everything is a different hand.
Yeah. Perfect.
As right as Joseph,
Tricorn hat pops out with all kinds of things.
right, it has a helicopter in it.
Go, Babin hat.
It's a helicopter, but it sounds really pretentious.
Put.
Les swirl.
Let's
Okay, so as Joseph walks over and as Christoph is already staring off at this creature, Christoph, you see as Joseph approaches, it kind of back off into the shadows a bit, and you can barely make out where the eyes are now. And it is just said, "We are sons of France."
Joseph heard, like, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, you heard pretty much all that.
Damn. Joseph's gonna just be like, "Sons of France?"
What is that voice I hear?
There's more of a retreat into the shadows. You can barely see it now, Christoph. Joseph, you have a problem knowing exactly where it is because you didn't have eyes on it to begin with. So you know it kind of where it is, but you can't distinguish the form from the corpses or the wall or anything else. And in this type of lighting, which we're all used to, this static lighting that we have now, that doesn't live, that doesn't move, this is lantern light in a town that is still dominated by the flame. So the flames move, cast shadows that move. If you don't have a bead on something in the dark, you can't pick it up once it's gone into the living shadow.
I could have sworn I heard a voice over there.
Joseph's gonna grab Kristoff by the shoulders and like turn him around and say,
He would kind of like push off, like, wait, what are the Sons of France? Like calling out towards the creature.
We are patriots.
What are you doing down here?
Surviving.
I look towards
Le
the
fuck.
Sergeant. What do we do?
You can't stay down here. The people need to do their work.
"Fade the dead."
Hey, they're dead, but these people, like, they keep seeing creatures. They're gonna keep freaking out. It's gonna keep happening.
Big rats down here and they talk? You're losing my mind.
Very big rat.
I thought it was a creature. I thought that's what we said it was.
More like a wolf. But
Bigger than a rat, yes, more like a wolf.
With hands.
with
But that was
hands.
That
With
speaks
hands.
perfect French, English.
Something about softball size comes flying into your group, into the middle of the lantern light. It hits the ground and rolls over, and you see it's a stone with something tied to it.
Yep.
Open
I
it,
would,
or
someone picked it up. I'm holding a lantern.
I can't
Oh, yeah.
untie.
I'm so limited. I am holding a lantern. I can't do anything.
Joseph's
Joseph's
gonna be the-
He's got little
Uh,
crab
you
get
hands
that.
now.
I need
Pick
two
it up.
people to.
You hold. I open my mouth to
Yeah.
open.
Joseph will pick it up and hand it and hold it so that our what's his name? Jesus
Renault?
Christ. No, hold it so the Bebin can read it.
Oh.
Just
So that he's useful for
Oh,
once.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bebin can
Okay, let me do
feel
something.
involved.
I want to be a part of this.
I'm good
Come
at
on.
reading.
Right.
Give it here.
No.
What are you people doing? Right.
I could just like hook it onto my thumb and just have
Well,
a
I
hand.
feel
Anyway.
like in the past he
hand.
just holds his hand up and we thumbtack crap on so the whole
Yeah, it's just a bulletin board.
Yes.
It's made
Well,
out
he's
of
got a
cork,
he's got a
right?
wooden
So
hand.
it's all wood except for like the palm.
Yeah.
The palm is
pamphlets
cardboard.
all over it.
He's got a hand that's in a lantern
He's
hole,
got
but we
his
didn't figure out how to
lantern
get the lantern in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Ding,
But we
ding.
just
Nine.
nail stuff. It's got an eye hook.
Oh my
There we
God.
just have
You
a
just
lantern.
screw it
Back
in.
and forth.
Okay,
Get it on.
what does it say?
Sure, let's get back to that.
I'm sorry.
As you guys are reading, it says, written in very, very, not flowery handwriting, but very elegant, very precise
What are you
handwriting.
trying to say?
I'm saying that you probably couldn't do it because you only have one hand, which we haven't learned about yet.
Thank you.
He says, you're right. It says, I will keep them away. Your workers may continue.
Man.
Thanks.
He says, I will keep them away.
Do you think
Workers
that's?
can continue.
Do you think there's anyone else down here? Do you really think that there's a creature that is talking to us?
No, I think they're just big rats and we should go.
It can't. It must be someone else playing tricks on us down here, Sergeant. Etienne, you are a sapper. Surely you have been on the ground before. There must be games like this that soldiers play on one another. Maybe.
He's gonna pat Michelle on the back, kind of say like, "It's nothing. They were just creatures. We have nothing to worry about. Everything's fine.
But that
It's
note,
handled."
that note there, and it evaporated when it died. And it was talking to us, Christoph. I heard it.
I think you're tired. I think that we need to get a drink in you, get you to bed. It's time for us to get out of here.
Yeah.
He's gonna kind of like start leading Michelle out.
Joseph's gonna like help
Hmm.
Kristoff and say, "You heard rats. This place is full of rats and noises, and you're scaring at shadows. We killed it.
There's something else. There's something else here.
There's nothing else here.
There's something else here. Bonjour. As I wait for it to echo back.
He's got the one wooden hand.
Bonjour.
Anyone here?
Renault
Oui,
kind of
hello.
looks. Renault kind of looks at her and says, "Listen, we are in dire times. There's no food. If anything, what we saw was the lowest dregs of society. There's meat
Lower.
here.
Lower dregs.
Lower dregs.
Lower.
There's, There's meat here.
Don't mock me.
It's not.
I'm a war hero.
Oh, well.
Did you see?
I will
He's got two wooden
survive.
hands.
Suddenly they're both wooden.
There's meat here.
Next episode, he's gonna be all made of.
Cuts the bat, but he's a broom handle.
Not any meat that any one of us
So
would
he
eat.
was all along.
God damn it. He says it was nothing but a man. The one that attacked us, the white plague takes everyone differently. It is all you saw. As the man said, he wrote, and he holds up the letter. He wrote that you leave us alone. Continue. That's what we'll do. We'll continue this work until we're done. That's what you saw, Michelle. It's just a regular man.
Yes, Sergeant. Yes.
I can't stop laughing because I see Will laughing.
You fucking killed me.
Yeah, 30 seconds later, we see Will crack up.
Almost died.
Ooh, is it hot here? Anybody else?
I'm gonna head back up then with Joseph and Christoph as they kind of chill me out a bit.
I'm gonna follow as well, but like I guess slowly behind. He still believes there's something down here, and still kind of playing into the fact that he lost a little bit of his sanity back there.
Yeah, occasionally I'll shoot like this kind of fevered, worried look back to Etienne, and we might share that kind of glance as well because we both feel like we've seen something in there.
Right, yeah, you guys are definitely the most affected coming back out into the Parisian air. What do you all tell Dr. Regault?
You can leave that to Sergeant. You're in charge.
I go sit down.
He still asks Michelle to draw the man in his medical condition of whatever state of plague he was in, but he explains to Regault that it was an animal. The same excuse they settled on in the beginning, that this was some kind of animal down there and it's been taken care of, and the men can continue their work.
Okay. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes pass, and Regault relays this to the workers, and the workers seem satisfied because nobody has come up. They didn't hear any shots fired. You're all alive. Everything seems all right. You're a little worse for wear, Renaud, as there's a slice across you, which kind of corroborates your story more than anything else, that there was some type of scuffle. You vanquished whatever it was, and they go back to work. The good doctor will help you out a bit if he can. And he does.
Sweet.
Noise.
And that is not what I need to type on. You get 2 hit points back, sir, as the good doctor is able to patch you up a bit.
Nice.
Prevent any spread of disease and all of that good stuff. Okay, now as you have all just come out of the catacombs after that experience, everybody but Myth will roll me a wild magic surge at this point. Mike, you'll roll 2.
Great, thanks.
What's my wild magic surge button? Do I have one of those on here?
No.
It's just a
D10.
D10.
Oh my God.
That was wrong. That was wrong. I didn't roll.
You
I
rolled
didn't put the
10,000.
D. Yeah.
I'm
No,
rolling in
you
what?
can't forget the D. That's
I
like
forgot the
most
D,
important
guys.
part.
Never forget the D.
Yeah,
That was
that
pretty
is the
close,
most
though.
important.
Fuck
That's
me.
the hardest part of the roll. The D.
Yeah, it really is.
You got pretty close there. That
All right, let me
second
go through these.
Baby.
Mike, what did you roll?
8570.
8570. First one reads: all within 50 yards and in armor are paralyzed for the next 2d6 rounds.
All right.
Which is probably us.
And then 9994.
No, 94. Damn, son. Weather in this area, this is awesome, is supernaturally intense for the next 1d4 months.
Blades in the dark.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Just switch it on over.
Right.
Just
Okay.
switch
This
campaigns.
dude over there.
Okay, everybody, I need you to tell me what your loadout is as we.
Yeah. Okay, Haley.
Ghosts knocking on the gates of Perry.
Haley, what'd you get there?
4126.
4126 reads: any water elemental touching or touched by the target splits in 2.
Perfect.
Up for you to interpret on that one, Greg.
I became Moses.
You did.
Yes.
Jules.
Yeah, my dice thingy won't let me roll a D. Do I just like...
Oh, you have to type
type
in
it in.
/
Do like that.
R space 1D10,000.
I'll look up mine in the meantime. No worries. Copy mine without any thingy. I think that I own everything now in my line of sight. Greg, what am I looking at? Because I think I own
Sir
it.
Simba.
You are currently looking at the cart that
This is on
the
mine.
bodies have been brought over on.
That's my car.
That's your mount that you
That's my mount.
also award.
Yeah, maybe that's my mount. Nice. Cool. And
Yeah,
then,
there it is. Yeah, your mount is the death horse on the cart. You get the cart and the death.
I get this. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's like my family one, and when I got drafted up, that was like taken with me, and it's kind of stayed, and the horse has stayed with me ever since, and has now ended up kind of like it's unfit for like any kind of war service. So like now that she's basically kind of a nag, and dying, put her on a death cart.
Yeah, she's about 14, and she's pulling a cart. And chat for I think we have a viewer decision, don't we, Will?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's the name of Will's horse that carries the death cart?
All right, guys, underneath that line there in chat, throw some ideas. What is the name of my horse? Gotta be a French name.
French name.
It's a great name.
Do I have a second?
There's a lot of great French foods out there.
I don't think so. I only had two for Mike.
Just
Mike.
Well, they were saying something about like food guests, Wild Magic Surge.
Someone might have thrown a Patreon or a sub one at you. Someone in chat remind me. 4597, metal weapons strike sparks against the target's body like flint. Pretty cool one for you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I already see one in chat that's hilarious, but I'm not going to say it to
Yeah, those are really good ones.
not get it. I'm just like, I want that one. So
Yeah. These are really good ones.
There are really good ones.
Yo, shout out to whatever Canadian said poutine.
Hey, that's Mitch. that's Mitch.
Is that Mitch?
Yes.
Rose Vein.
Yeah.
Yes.
God damn it, why is this fucking thing? I don't want to. Stop!
Who's that?
That's Mitch.
That's Mitch?
That's Mitch's old account.
Oh, you sneaky dog.
No, I don't want to.
Incognito Mitch.
Mm.
In Mitch Nito.
Well, now Mitch needs to make a new account because just added that account saying thanks. Good job.
okay, so as we're waiting
It's
for all of
pronounced
that,
Bois.
the weather in this area begins to get very, very cold. And
Is it raining?
it is not raining. It is just getting very, very
I'm
chill.
gonna split rain so that
Raindrop
it doesn't hit
into
me.
yeah.
Right.
It's raining much harder for me.
Is it like bomb cycloning on it?
Yeah, it's just there's no increase in atmospheric cloud cover or anything like that. This is just a reduction in temperature, and the men start kind of looking around nervously as this is a continuation of this already kind of spooky night that they're having. But the whispers soon turn to, well, this will affect the grain crops, and we can expect less bread now, and as it continues on, because this is early June, and while cold weather is not completely out of the norm for France, something in the approximately 40-degree Fahrenheit range is odd, and it continues to seem to get a little bit cooler. As you all are sitting there and kind of going about returning to your task after the night, the sergeant has been wrapped up by the doctor, taken care of, and as you guys are sitting there, another horse rides up, and your Captain Milan, jumps off and kind of walks very quickly over to the group of you. Captain Milan is a very striking gentleman. He is very large, almost the same size as the sergeant. He's older. He's in his 50s. He has been stern but fair with you all. And as he gets close to you, he addresses the sergeant, but in a very non-military way. He also kind of brings the rest of you in, which is something that you normally wouldn't see from a superior officer. It would normally be a delineation of order, superior to the next in line, and then the sergeant would give it to what is essentially the enlisted men. But as Captain Milan walks up, he says that, listen, I need you all to go to the printing press at the Rue de la Harpe. There's been a incident. Speak to the landlady there, Madame Bossette. Bossette has told us and informed the authorities that there's been a murder. There is a printing press that is under her proprietorship. Apparently the man's family was killed. Get there before the police do. Those buffoons will tramp through everything. keep this quiet. And he kind of looks for a second at Joseph, and he leans a little closer to the sergeant. And this time the words are only for the sergeant when he says, solve the crime. Get any information or evidence you can, but see what this man was printing. And he pulls back.
He nods, and while he's kind of leaned in, he says, "We need words later."
Agreed. Get there quickly, Sergeant. You and you alone go inside. You and your men.
He nods and says, "Well, you heard him, boys. Let's go."
You guys arrived here on horses, so they have horses provided, and of course, Will has his death cart, pulled by a yet-to-be-named horse.
Still full of corpses.
Corby, come on.
Popeye, come on, guys. Keep it historically
Keep it
accurate.
canon.
Sorry, you know.
Keep it historically
Keep it
accurate.
canon.
I'm still learning French.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to be
Everything thus far has been historically accurate, including wooden hands that
including
move.
the hands. I'm trying to be
off
immersed
screen.
here, and honestly, Mike, you're ruining it.
Rapaye.
You know, I apologize.
Raphael.
I've been trying hard.
Corby.
Popeye.
I am sitting here literally fielding DMs from the History Channel. They want desperately to get a copy of this because they want to put it up immediately as an exact representation.
Can't have it.
Or is it gonna appear before or after each alien?
The History trying to have a Twitter account. They are DMing Greg as we speak, and it's a primary method of getting in touch. Anyway, if you're watching this, if you're watching this in 100 years, this is also historically accurate. So,
Right. We
Ancient
were also in
encounter
charge of the
roleplay.
world. Right.
Yeah.
Aliens.
This is the only document that survives.
You know who used to play Dungeons and Dragons? Aliens. What was Call of Cthulhu about? Aliens.
This was, yeah. It can
Naked aliens, though.
Right.
very important that they're
Naked mole rat people aliens in France.
Yeah, obviously.
Accurate.
patriot naked mole rat.
Sorry, accurate.
Accurate.
How do you guys speak French? Just pretend your tongue is 3 times the size it normally is.
Just,
Yeah, I actually have a bee in a jar. Before, I just sting myself with it.
just hawk a
Right in the
loose
uvula.
Every
for,
time.
like
Every time we start
You
up.
know it kills a bee when you do that. See, every time you play, you murder a bee.
That's how committed I am.
Cthulhu.
Yep.
You said
Has to
somebody
freshen
was
up a
gonna die
little.
today. It was that fucking bee.
So wait a minute. To recap, it's bee injections in the uvula was the last 30 seconds. History Channel blowing up. I'm blowing up here on Twitter, everybody. What is this? Oh wait, it's there's somebody else. Oh yeah.
Voice acting X with Myth.
Right.
That one you could have for free.
What happened to that YouTube show, man?
Right. Well, I'm
I mean,
doing
the
it
History
live now
Channel
for free
does
now.
have
yeah,
a Twitter. History Channel does have a Twitter. You can add them right now.
Yes. Yes.
All right. What was the story? Did we have a story yet?
No.
Tell them
Going to the printing press.
We're going. So,
Alright,
so yeah, So someone's been murdered. Do we know who's been murdered?
Someone at
yes,
the printing press.
apparently it was the printer and his family have been killed. And Captain Milan came and asked you specifically to get there before the Parisian police, who are locally considered to be asshats. So if you guys can get there and take care of it before they go in there and fuck it up,
Right,
that would
so
be
we don't-
preferable.
We don't.
Tricorn asshats.
Tricorn asshats.
Oyster dicks.
They are. Well, I'm sorry. It was the perfect setup. Yes, they're all oyster dicks.
We
We're
failed.
trying to be accurate. Come on.
You have failed us.
Ridiculous.
I am.
I quit.
Oyster
I will.
ridiculous.
I will make amends. I will make amends soon.
Right,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
I'm gonna head off with the captain. I'll bring on my horse, which is looking like omelette du fromage at the moment.
Omelette du
Omelette du
fromage.
fromage. That's the name of my horse. Good one, guys.
There's son of a mole. That was one of the.
There were some really good ones in
Some
there.
good ones.
That is authentically French.
Yep.
Lane the name air was
feels
my favorite.
I'm limo.
Yes,
Little,
the potted
little
chap. I am wearing blush on my cheeks.
Little omelette.
I like that. That rouge.
Right. It's
You
just.
want to get some of that
Rouge.
real accurate? We can get you some arsenic-based face powder, and you can just slowly melt your face off while you're.
I'd
I
watch
was
that.
thinking. I was thinking about it.
I'd
I got it, off of Amazon Europe, but they wouldn't send it over here. So
Life hack for some cheap arsenic. Crush some apple seeds. There you go.
rub it on your face.
You're welcome,
Gross.
kids.
Apple seeds.
No, that's legit though. I was reading that the other day. Women used to wash their faces with like arsenic wash to make it nice and pale because
yeah.
in the 19th century it was popular to look like you had
Yeah.
consumption, but not like it's like remember when the 90s it was like heroin chic. In the 1890s it was like
tuberculosis chic.
Tuberculosis.
I mean, that's my king. Yeah.
It's
It was-
super
it
in
was-
to look like you're on the verge of dying.
It was
King Sham,
T-Beak,
guys.
if you will. Right.
Yeah.
Oh god damn it.
Trade to be.
I hate you
We're in
all.
France.
To be close.
Okay. So as you guys are riding through the streets of Paris, getting makeup tips and stopping and see if you can find any apple seeds anywhere. As you guys are going through this is the middle of the night, so the streets are pretty open, but you're getting towards morning at this point. It's around 4:30 local time, and I'd like everyone to roll a spot hidden for me as you guys are just traveling through the streets, 1 carded, 4 on horse.
I hard past that.
I just
Hungry.
counted.
That is a success.
What are we
Failed.
doing? We're writing a spot hidden.
Spot
Yeah.
hidden. Will is money on everything but
Boom.
sanity, which I love.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
down.
Oh,
I love
good.
for like when Will does go insane to just keep passing all his rolls.
Oh, my rolls.
What do my Etienne eyes see?
Yeah, the hand is.
The spike club.
You get okay. So as you guys are going through, you look over and you see a group of people that are congregating in front of one of the bakeries along the way. From this distance, it's kind of a muffled, blends in a bit with the background noise that's beginning to kind of permeate the air of an awakening Paris. But there are several angry shouts that kind of draw your attention. And you see at this point, when anybody that passed their spot hidden, when you all turn and look in that direction, you see what appears to be the baker with his young son and apparently or presumably his wife behind him as he's standing in the door frame, motioning to the crowd as the crowd are wielding bats. Some of them have rocks, and they seem to be screaming for bread. And the baker keeps saying, "It is all pre-sold. It's pre-sold. I can't give it to you. People have already paid for it." He has not noticed you all yet.
And this is on the arrival to the...
Towards? This
Is it in passing
on the way?
or is it?
This is like along the path. You're about 3/4 of the way to the printing press when you see this.
I look towards the sergeant, as I do in all things. Sergeant, do we step in here?
He's saying that the bakery is owned by by the clergy.
No, the bread's already pre-sold. Like
the
they can't
bread's
have any bread.
pre-sold.
It's
Yeah.
already.
Got bread.
It is
Yeah.
not. It's not priests old. It is pre-sold.
Priests old.
It's priest
Does that
over
sound like I said?
pre-sold.
No, I thought he
Good.
said it's the priest. It's the priest. I thought he meant the priest owned the bakery and there's something that he could do, but he meant he owned the bread, not the bakery itself.
There you go. Right.
How common is this, Greg?
You all have seen stuff like this before, but there are riots almost daily, weekly, maybe, because people will go to the bakeries and the bakeries have already sold, have an allotment of grain that they're given, and they already have bread pre-bought.
This is Bell's Revolution.
They got it on
There goes
pre-release.
The baker.
They
without
did.
Fucking bread like
Day one
always.
DLC.
This is
Sure.
day one bread DLC. This is
Um,
DLC. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is commonplace. We've seen this before, and as especially as Michelle looks to Sergeant Renault, you can see that there's like he feels the same way everyone else does in this moment, but he nods his head no. He shakes his head no rather, and says, "No, we have our task. We must press on. This is not our problem this day.
It's not us. No. I
It's
think
not
it's
our bread.
it's not our bread to crack.
This is priest-owned bread."
Not bread
This
to
is
break.
freestone bread.
I don't think this is a bread trail we want to follow.
Thanks so
I mean,
much.
he did fail his spot hidden, so he
Yeah,
could have totally
there's-
heard
Yeah.
freestone bread.
Yeah.
There's too many crumbs.
Too many grains. Not today.
Not today.
I
goes
don't think
the
we'll be
baker.
breaking bread over this.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
With
let's
his
move
bread
on.
as always.
Just
Yeah,
look
Joseph fails his spot hidden, and they pass by, and Joseph like elbows Kristoff and goes, "There goes the baker. Same old bread and rolls, man."
Same old bread and
Oh
roast to serve.
man.
There goes his baker with his tray like always.
Same
She's
bread,
like,
different day.
Fucking morning, all the same.
Myth, no one heard that.
I didn't hear it. What'd you say?
I said, there goes a baker with his tray like always.
No, Jules has been making that joke.
They're
You
making that
can't
joke
steal
the whole
that.
They're making this joke all the time.
She's been.
If I could do a low masculine French accent, it would sound great coming out of my mouth. But I'm a squeaky voice little Southern girl, so I'm like, there goes a baker.
She says it, and then she says it again, and then she's like, "Hey, Christoph, hey."
I didn't hear it.
There's the
Sorry.
baker, like, "Oh." Hey.
Just seeing the regret in Greg's
I was
eyes.
picking up on it, but I didn't expect it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. All right. So as you guys
Damn
pass
provincial
by,
town.
yeah, there really must be more than this provincial life. Rickroll my one. Okay. As you guys are continuing on, you get to what is the
Village. Sorry.
I was in this in high school, and it's really hard for me not to continue the rest of any part of this Beauty and the Beast reference.
Really?
Can we get it out of our system?
I don't think we can.
No.
I think
I'm gonna be honest, no.
Little town full of dying people
There it is.
making up to
All right, guys, I'll be right back.
Take on me.
Greg, why don't you just come back in like 30 minutes and we'll be done.
Yeah, I'll just be here.
Rest.
pause while we have a dance.
He's just like he's
So
face
we-
palming while we're just like.
Actually left.
Yeah.
So the
Jack-
exposition train takes us to the
Oh man.
Yeah. The next part of this, I'll let until Creepy Will gets back with the creepy glasses. You guys ride through the rest of the town. You hear nothing more from the bakery at this point. You get to a place called the Rue de la Harpe, which in the center of this small plaza in an intersection of several streets, you see another crowd gathered as people in nightshirts carrying candles and lanterns are standing around what looks to be, by the placard outside, a printing press. It is a long, dark tenement building with the printing press kind of in the bottom or subterranean section, with living quarters above it. On your map, it is location number 14. From a spot without requiring a roll of any kind, you see that there is a wooden door leading into a lower side entrance that appears to have been kicked in.
I think you have a different map than us.
Yeah, my map only has 11 locations.
Then
Right.
it's not 14, it's 4. How's
Oh,
that?
Oh, we're in Leal. Okay.
Oh, the market, the
Yeah.
halls of markets.
Les Halls.
There you go.
Les Halls, yes.
Those Les Halls.
Mm.
Les Haley Market.
Yeah,
We had less
that's
halls
my
at
my
college.
market.
Taking into
Yeah,
Les
that
Halles.
reminds me of university. Anyhow,
Exactly. Reminds me of Arcane College.
I keep what?
not again.
We had Les Halls back then. They weren't interested.
Very different than what you had them.
Worst.
They were dick interested.
God damn it, that was the worst one.
We're getting nowhere.
Oh, we're
Draw a
gonna,
line there.
we're gonna cut to break,
Draw-
guys.
Wait a minute. What? The History Channel's just blocked me.
They're pulling out.
They pulled out.
Yeah.
That was quick. Okay, so as you guys get forward, you see that this group carrying, there's this semi-mob around the printing press are carrying their candles and their lanterns, and there's a couple cries go out as you all ride up, grumbles of, aristos, and they're pointing towards you all as you ride up. You do see a woman sitting on a stoop right outside of the area. She seems white-faced, covered in a sheen of sweat, even though the air has now become very unnaturally chill. And as you get closer, you see that she is staring ahead at the mob and through the mob at nothing.
Is everything okay here? I say as we approach, bringing up omelette du fromage, my neck. Come
Little
on,
omelette.
come on, omelette. Come on,
Mon petit enlait.
come on.
Omelette fromage. It's very slow and
Je m'appelle du fromage.
That's not.
My name is Cheese.
My name is Cheese. My name is of Cheese.
Will just says the only words in French he knows.
I was acting as the horse, Mike. I was role playing as the horse. If that wasn't clear to you,
come on. I got it.
then I'm sorry.
My immersion.
I got it.
I'm all out of the place. Oh
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, I say, is everything okay?
You're talking to the woman?
Cheers.
Yeah, I talked to the woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Roll me a persuade check, please. She seems gone.
Persuade is all right. That's a success.
Jesus,
because
Will.
I cannot fail any roll in Call of Cthulhu.
Wow. You're gonna die like
So
next
hard
session,
next
though.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have cast too many souls to the elder gods of Cthulhu, mine
Yeah.
included.
Yeah.
You've earned yourself some boons and favors, my friend. As you kind of approach and say this, her eyes, as they're staring at the people that are now staring at you all as you've come up, they flick away for a second and look up at you. And it seems as if she's just woken up from something. And she kind of, her eyes, you see the pupils kind of dilate and refocus as she looks up and she says, "What?
Hello. Have you...
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. No,
Is it me you're looking for?"
I say, I say, is everything okay? Did you see something?
Oh my God.
Yes, I did.
What,
And she looks around and now notices the other four of you that are there.
We're here to help. What did you see?
You are army, you are not police?
Joseph's gonna help him out and squat down so
I
he's at her
salute.
level.
I salute too.
We.
Why-
She
Say,
she
we're here to-
awkwardly salutes.
No, you don't do that.
Etienne
just put
dabs.
like a hand on her shoulder and say, "We're here to help. Tell us what happened."
I was awoken by a knock at the door. I came to the door and a man wearing a hood was standing there. There was a white carriage just over there, and she points towards an area right beside where the crowd is currently placed. He asked for Monsieur Raymond, the printer who rents from me downstairs, and I showed him. I showed him the door. I pointed him to those people. He told me to lock my door, stay inside.
What happened to them?
I showed them. I gave him to them.
Who was he? What did he look like?
He had, and her eyes go vacant for a second as if it's like right on the tip of her tongue. He was, his eyes. I remember his eyes.
What were they like?
They were almost white, pale blue, I guess. I just remember his eyes.
That strikes a chilling chord with Michelle, having seen locked eyes with the gentleman in the carriage before. He kind of did he? What was his manner of speaking? Was he a common man? Was he a clergyman, aristocrat?
Aristocracy, yes. Very precise in what he said, very deliberate. He asked for them and I gave them to him. I did not know.
It's okay.
He went. When he told me to close the door, I looked at the carriage and I saw a hand fall out of the doorframe. It was pale.
I see. A carriage, you say? What color?
White. It was white. With red trim around it.
I look towards the sergeant. Sergeant, we saw a carriage like that earlier today. The man, I locked eyes with him. They were the same eyes that she has described.
Go back to the hand.
Greg, are we in front of the baker's? Like, is she sitting on the stoop of the baker, or is she sitting on the stoop of her house?
She's at the stoop
Oh,
of
the printer press, rather. Sorry.
Yeah, she's at the stoop of the building, which contains like an upper level of tenement housing and what appears to be the printing press on the lower level.
Okay.
So it's all one area, but
Thank you,
she would be the landlady, the Madame Bossette that Captain Milan told you about.
So did she like an actual physical hand just plopped on the ground? Is that what?
It probably would have been one of the bodies
We
that the cart
go
had
back to
hid.
the hand.
I think the description was like when he opened the carriage door, the man that came out,
Oh,
a hand came out of the carriage.
Okay.
Like,
Yes, it wasn't
there was a
detached.
corpse
It was like
in
a
the So as Michel looks to Renault, he kind of looks to him, and he caught the description of the carriage as well. He looks to Michel and says, "Stay here. Get whatever description you can of this man, the carriage, the hand." And he nods towards Etienne. He says, "Etienne, if the Parisian police arrive,
Oui.
keep them out. I'm going inside." He
Sergeant,
moves towards the door.
don't go alone. There could still be someone in there. Christophe. Joseph, shouldn't you go with him?
we can go.
I
You
will.
need to stay here.
I will get the sketches from this woman, and I will stay with Etienne.
Yes.
Wait.
And he makes towards the door.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna follow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Christoph, Joseph, and the sergeant are going inside the printing press as my stomach rumbles. You guys.
That's a good one.
That was
Thanks.
loud.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was,
Just like
Sorry.
a fucking washing machine. Yeah, I like it.
it was audible.
Yeah, I'm a bit hungry. As you guys are, I'll make sure to mute next time. As you
As-
That
guys,
is
as Greg-
atmosphere.
As Greg disguises the
It's
part,
perfect.
he's like, "I was this is my stomach."
oh yeah, believe me,
That
if
was
it
a
was
train.
right. What is that? That's the house settling.
It's a duck.
Right. Did you guys see the size of that chicken? Okay, so as you guys are the people that are outside, so Babin and Michelle. Babin, as you kind of go to move over and take care of the police as well, you were instructed should they
Yeah.
show up,
Yeah.
the crowd is eyeing you suspiciously. And when you get close to them, kind of working the periphery, so to speak, you see that where they indicated the cart or the carriage was placed, there is a pile of fresh horse manure and something white.
Okay. I will put the lantern down. I just imagine I still had it this whole time. I put the lantern down, and I go ahead and I grab, or at least try to get close enough to see what this white thing is.
As you kind of kneel down, a couple of the people are moving a little bit closer to you, as if they're interested in what you're interested in, but more because they don't trust you. And as they sort of semicircle around you a bit, you're aware of their encroachment, and you notice that it's some type of like a handkerchief of some type. And as you reach down and cut to pick it up, we will cut back over to Michelle. Do you have
What
any
was
more
it under? It was white handkerchief under what?
Is it just a white handkerchief? It looked to be like, sort of lacy. And as you pick it up, we're going to cut back to Michelle.
Okay. So, these eyes. Gentleman was a aristocrat with white carriage and red trim. Did he have a weapon on him? Was he armed in any way?
None that I saw.
And the way he spoke to you, you said it was direct. Did he tell you what to do? Did he ask you what to do?
He only asked me for Monsieur Renaud. And when I told him where they were, he kept He, as if remembering something, she says, he was dabbing at his face with something, wiping something. And we're going to cut back to Babin. And as you pick up this handkerchief, you see that there is red smeared all over it, and it bears the initials M.A. And we'll cut back to Michelle.
Oh, Massachusetts.
It's
Massachusetts.
dabbing at his mouth with a handkerchief, maybe?
Yes, I believe so. But a woman's handkerchief. There's lace on it, I believe. My stomach's going berserk. I'm sorry.
A woman's.
It's all right. Just blame it on Cthulhu.
A woman's handkerchief. I see. And he didn't say why he wanted to see Miss Renault. Didn't say what he wanted with him.
He's aristocratic.
Of course. No. I'm not questioning your judgment, of course. And he went inside.
He told me to lock the door. I saw the hand. I did, and...
The hand came from the carriage when he entered the house, is that right?
Yes.
So there was someone already in there?
Yes.
Okay. And...
No.
No?
No one came out.
No one came out. So he entered. You looked at the carriage and you saw the hand. Am I getting that right?
Yes, and then he went downstairs and I heard terrible things.
What did you hear?
Screams. Rage. Those eyes. Savagery. I couldn't leave. I showed him where they were. And she seems to leave again.
Yeah, I'm going to try and bring it back around, kind of like get down to a level like Joseph did. We seem to have some success before. Look at me here. Look at my eyes.
I'm going to need you to roll a hard persuasion check, but while you're doing that, we're going to cut to the sergeant as he, Joseph, and Christoph go inside.
Not a success on the hard.
Can we have picked up the lantern?
Yeah, you guys can have a lantern. Yeah, there would be one provided. I mean, you can definitely have one.
Yeah, we grabbed Babin's lantern. We took the lantern hand actually. He's
got a bunch
took the whole
of them.
hand, unscrewed it, just grabbed it.
Right.
Just a quarter turn lock.
That's not my lantern hand. Don't tell them.
Right. As you're walking away with the hand on the lantern, he looks up and says, "Wait!" with a completely different hand. That's right now. Okay, so as you guys are walking inside,
I'm waiting for him to send it to Mr. Krabs.
When you walk inside, it is a large room. The printing press dominates the majority of this place. There are 4 tables that, while very large, are used to set type. There's currently isn't anything set on these tables. The room smells of ink and paper, but a coppery smell dominates those kind of peripheral smells of the occupation. And as you all walk in, and as the lantern light begins to cast around, you see right inside the door what looks to be a headless dog. And as you kind of creep around and the shadows creep around some of the tables, you see the head of the dog cleanly severed, as if by some incredibly sharp instrument. You also notice that there's no blood pooling from the dog torso or the head. And you see that the dog's face is pulled back in a snarl, frozen that way, as if it was in mid-attack when whatever happened to it happened to it. The farther you go in, it's not long before you hear the dripping and you look up and you see 4 bodies strung from their feet from the rafters as they hang there. And the drips fall from their necks to the ground. I'd like you all to roll sanity checks, please.
so happy.
Is that a soundboard you got there with?
Yes.
Yes. Though I feel like Joseph's gonna like stumble backwards and look up and be like, shit. What the fuck? 'Cause,
Okay,
like, even if
two
it doesn't
successes.
affect you.
Alrighty.
We get this clear. I think it's Joasef.
Joasef.
Joasa.
Joasef.
That's fine. Okay, Renault, you are a steeled veteran. You've seen countless campaigns. You've seen death on the battlefield. But this, when you are looking up at the printer, his wife, and his 2 teenage boys, their throats are cut with such force that bone is visible in each of them as the neck is splayed open from almost chest to jawline as it's torn a bit. And as the blood drips out, you lose 2 sanity points just because the sheer savagery of this is not something that you're used to. This is beyond war.
And you would see him like kind of start, and he stumbles back, and you hear like the of a table getting bumped, and you can see like a jar of something clatter as he kind of. Yeah, it was a soundboard. I have that right over here. As his hand goes up to one side of his cheek, and you would see him rubbing. He has a massive scar and ultimately a hole sewn back together in his cheek, and his eyes look very distant, and he is replaying some awful scene of some past campaign of similar horror, bullets ricocheting through the neck of a horse, toppling over on a man, breaking his leg bone, sticking out in a disgusting angle. And he kind of comes back into it and looks down at these 4. How old are the children?
It appears that one boy is 14 roughly, and the other boy looks to be an older teenager, maybe 17, 18.
Yeah, he continues like rubbing the side of his face. Like that's his phantom pain. And when his hand drops, he stone-faced looks back to bad at names, to Joseph and Christoph, and says,
Joasef, excuse me.
I'm sorry, Joasef.
Thank you.
He says, don't touch anything. Find out what was last used in the printer. Look around for anything. And he kind of glances back to the corpses. More out of the norm.
Christoph would be looking to see if anything was recently printed, if anything was like tossed on the ground, aside, thrown about.
Okay, roll spot hiddens. Anybody that's doing some investigation. And
I passed, but I had thrown one for the other.
Sergeant, why don't you roll a listen check for me?
Sure. No. I'm terrible. I'm too shook.
Too shooketh.
# shook.
Okay, Haley, you passed there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Christoph is the first one to notice that there's something in the mouths of the dangling people, that it appears that there's been something inserted into each of their jaws.
I don't like that.
Joseph, will you help me? We're gonna change his name every time. It's gonna be something else each time. Will you help me lower these bodies, get them down?
Yeah, is there a can I go up and like cut them down? Like, is there a place where they're all tied up that I can?
Yeah, you see that there are 4 ropes that are thrown over one of the rafter beams, and that you can kind of follow it down, and it seems to be right behind the counter. There's some type of anchor point that is holding all these, like, kind of, it looks like the printing press is being used as the leverage here, since it's several hundred pounds.
Okay, so Joseph's gonna go over and undo the ropes and kind of mumble and be like, oh, shit, what the fuck does this? Like,
Christoph would kind of catch them and put them down as not to like make the mess bigger or bodies splitting, and then he would start taking the pieces of paper out of the mouths.
Okay. As soon as you pull the first one out, you see the following in roll 20. It appears that it was one of the original pamphlets that you guys saw at the beginning, but it's convenient that the two of you are the ones that find it again, only it has a new print type across the top of it. Know your role, or know your place, know your role.
Know your role.
I'm
a soldier.
Place
Right.
playing.
Right.
As a
Know your
D&D
place, and it is written in what appears to be blood.
Kristoff would kind of like laugh to himself, like without like thinking. It just kind of happens. Just like, of course. And he kind of hands it to. I'm just trying to think of another way to say your name, and I can't. So he hands it to Joseph. So look another.
Joseph's gonna look up at the bodies and look back at the paper and say, "This is a steep price to pay for equality."
And he goes to pull the next one.
Same thing.
Are they all the same?
All the same. Know your place. Let's see, Joseph, as you are lowering the last of the bodies, you hear a whimpering coming from the cabinet at your side as you are sitting there.
Is it like a human whimpering or like a naked dog style whimpering?
It sounds, because you asked it that way, it sounds roughly animal.
Let's see. I want to motion like quietly to everyone and kind of be like, and point at the cabinet.
Out of habit, he would draw his weapon.
And I'm gonna be like, hold on, because we're gonna find some information out, so we're not gonna stab this thing. Not yet.
I'm not trigger happy, okay? Thank you. Stabby.
Rapier happy.
Joseph's gonna kind of
stabby happy.
Joseph's gonna like rapier happy. Rapier joie.
Joey DeVivre.
Joey DeVivre, right?
Joey DeVivre's got
Hey.
his rapier.
I know Joey DeVivre. That motherfucker owes me money. But
How did they capture your whole ship? They had a lycée banner. Joie, joie. It's my favorite scene. Oh God.
Okay.
All right, well, let's slice that pie.
Let's bring it back in. Okay. So you're opening up the cabinet?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of do the 1, 2, 3, like.
Okay, 1, 2, and we'll cut back outside. And let's go to Babin and Michelle as they are sitting out there. Michelle, you cannot get through to her. She seems to have retreated back into that catatonic state that you all had when you first arrived. However, at this point, you hear a yell from the crowd. Damn you, Aristos. What have you done to the printer?
Towards it, yeah.
To us? Yeah, to the both of you.
Yeah.
And you notice that the people now, where before they were in night clothes and candles and lanterns, it seems they have given way to more appropriately dressed people, as perhaps the neighborhood has bled away and a more organized group has shown up.
I don't like the look of Les Etienne.
I don't either. What do you mean?
Where's the printer?
I assume he's in there.
God.
People on it though.
Let us see him.
This place is, I'm gonna say, this place is under our control right now. After we are done, you may be allowed to, but right now we are following our orders from our sergeant.
Another voice from deeper into the crowd says, "They killed him!"
No, we did not kill him.
We did no such thing.
What? There is no blood in our hands, my friend. This good woman here. You saw someone come in. We are learning the facts of the case, and we will let you know as soon as we do, but we have not killed anyone. In fact, a few of our companions earlier today were killed.
Yes.
Both
Crushed
of
by
you
a
roll.
carriage.
Yeah, both of you roll. You can either pick one of you to roll a hard, or both of you need to roll one of you to roll an extreme, or both of you to roll a hard.
You want to burn a nat 20
checks.
on this one, man?
Yeah.
Could do.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna burn my natty twins. Do we want to do that I'm gonna go ahead and I will burn mine for. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, only one of you has to burn one, so that's okay.
Yeah. Why don't we do you burn it? What's your
Why don't you?
Why don't you do? What's your appearance?
My appearance.
What makes sense
is
here?
45.
45. Great. All right, I'll do mine. Never mind. Get wrecked. So I'll go ahead and burn mine then.
Okay. So as you get up there and begin stating what you've just said, you see that a couple of the people sort of peel off from the main group, and they drift further and seem to disperse. As the crowd reduces by roughly half, there are still maybe 7 people standing out here. There were more, obviously, but they were on the periphery. It seems that you're looking now at a group of 7, and by their dress, by the fact that they are all holding sticks, it seems that they have come here for a purpose other than simple curiosity. You killed him, didn't you, soldier?
Who?
You know what he was printing.
I know not.
Working for your master dog.
What was he printing?
As they begin to encircle the two of you, as they are trying to. Right now, you have access back into the print shop, but it's obvious that these 7 men are trying to put you in the middle of a circle.
Yeah, right. I instinct probably kicks in for me and Etienne, and we start backing up a little bit towards the printer's shop so we're not encircled.
Yeah.
I don't have something to my back.
But I want to reassure them that, oh man, I should have burned my 20 for this, that I was actually the one that was printing it.
That you were the one that was printing?
Yes, because that's my wild magic.
Your plagiarism?
Plagiarism.
When you were like, we have to go to a printing shop, I was like, fuck yeah.
I wrote all this
I tell you what, if you
canon.
Right, if you want to convince them that you are not necessarily the printer in this shop because they know this guy.
Hey, can I use my nat 20 to convince them that?
No, because doesn't make sense, Will.
He printed it. He did. He hasn't got any hands, but he did.
Right.
I don't have any hands.
You can use it as a continuation to kind of convince them that you are a printer of similar material.
Great.
If you want to try
Perfect.
that. Okay, so
we're getting it into the criminal minds of these third estate.
Right. Give me a pitch, or think of a pitch as we cut back inside the shop proper. Sergeant Renault, as you are probably closer to the center of the place, roll a listen check for me. And as the door is slowly being opened on the cabinet, it opens up and something flies out at Joseph.
I guess the only thing I do is kind of like put my hands up to try to block it. I don't know if that's a check.
Right. As you put your hands up, you realize that whatever was coming at you, it's unable to get that high as you're crouched down and kind of runs into your thigh area. And you look down and you see a white puppy with a black ear as it looks up and it's looking all around wild-eyed. And you see that in its paws, its white paws are covered in pink with blood. And it's only now that you realize that there are little paw prints all through some of the blood beneath where the bodies had been hanging.
Joseph's gonna crouch down and start petting the puppy and say, "Bonjour, ma petite," and ask it to try to get it to calm down.
Okay. As you're talking to it, it kind of crawls up your leg, and as soon as you kind of even like remotely try to grab it or just kind of hold it or comfort it anyway, it falls asleep in your arms as if it is utterly exhausted, terrified, and or both. So it just falls asleep, the one black ear kind of flopping over its left eye as it starts breathing heavily. It's very small.
Well, that's
It's very un petit.
Mon
It is-
petit chien.
While he's handling that, Kristoff would have handed the sergeant one of the 4 papers. From the mouth.
Is this common propaganda, Greg?
This type of propaganda is definitely common. The retort, the know your place, is definitely uncommon. This seems to be an answer to the questions that were asked on the original pamphlet. It is interesting to say the least, something you haven't seen before.
Okay. And there's a massive printing press in this room, right? Just sort of sitting there.
Correct. Massive. It appears to have been recently used.
Yeah, he takes this paperwork, reads it, written in blood, hands it back to Kristoff, and then almost wordlessly, he probably mutters a few things under his breath, walks over to the printing press, and then cranks the latch till it opens so he can see the typeset.
Mhm.
Is the typeset printing what's on the paper?
It is. And when you kind of crank it to open it, because this doesn't have the same viscosity as print ink, you see a trail and a small river of blood come out, and you see stacked buckets beside the printing press. And you can only assume that the chamber or the reservoir of the printing press is filled with whatever used to be inside the printer and his family.
Perfect.
Fucking gross, Greg. Man, I have a feeling that, like, knowing how Renault feels about the current tensions, and that there are current tensions, if the common folk find out this is why this guy's killed, there'll be open revolt. He immediately, when he cranks it open, notices the blood. Yeah, they have all. He begins removing the typeface in heaps and handfuls. He's pulling the letters out of this thing. And to anyone that looks at him with any modicum of curiosity, he says, "Tell no one." And he begins throwing this into wherever the bin of letters and prefab words are, as he's dumping this out of the printing press. Have you seen anything else? Is there anything else here that...
We have a new recruit. In the middle of death.
Is
Joe
there any
like, puppy? No, but
Joe?
Joe. Joe, I got me a dog.
I love the fact that like I have like Greg wrote little like tidbits of what I think of all the other people. And I don't think anyone else can see them, but yours is a terrible soldier. And I'm like,
oh man,
It feels bad, man.
This is great.
It's the worst.
Mine's so nice for him though.
Yeah, mine's really nice.
Real
Mine's like, I really super respect you.
You're just a shit.
Mine
It's
says
like
that I can ask you for a loan though.
It says you're good at
money.
these few things, but other than that, you're just pretty shit.
Just pretty.
But I'm really good at what I am good at, like making new friends.
Terrible.
So far, you're nailing it. I don't want to go down there. We got a puppy. All right. 10 out of 10.
All right.
So as soon as you say, we have a new recruit, all excited with the corpses hanging around, he just sort of looks at you and
That urged a backhand.
Yeah, you've outdone yourself. Truly.
Did somebody say backhand?
As he puts his backhand on.
Is there any other propaganda? Is there like another room? Anything that would catch Kristoff's attention to further investigate?
I tell you what, roll a spot hidden or a tracking. Anybody that wants to look for anything more, whatever you have better. Ooh, look at
that!
Nice.
Look at me
I
go!
don't know if I need to roll something now, but I'll try. Oh no, tracking puppy.
You got a puppy.
Not all
Got
heroes
myself
wear hands?
literally a puppy covered in blood, but that's fine.
Blood
Blood
puppy.
puppy.
Okay.
Blood puppy. Let's find out how
Bloody.
you say blood in French, and that's its name.
Blue.
Bleh.
Bleh.
Bleh, bleh.
This is my petit chien, bleh.
As you guys are sitting there, you figure out the following. The sergeant, as you are looking around further, your singular purpose, Captain Milan said to make sure that whatever was printed was you understood what it was and things
Who's
like
printing?
what was printing. You find
so much,
stacks
Wiley.
of this propaganda material and one additional stack of the Know Your Place propaganda, as if it was deliberately printed and set there, which you as a seasoned veteran sends a shiver up your spine, because not only did this person that the landlady saw have the audacity to come in here and murder these people, he fucking printed what looks to be between 50 and 75 copies of some type of propaganda in their blood, ran the printing press and everything. And that type of arrogance in the face of a capital crime is very, very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the terrifying work ethic of the evil that is the most scary thing about them, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
It's reasons like this why the French now have 4-hour workdays.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
The less you can get done, the less you can destroy. I think Joseph's probably gonna walk up to Christoph and like kind of bouncing the puppy to keep it asleep and say, I've named him Sang. What have you found?
What have I found?
Well, as you guys are there and there's the whole exchange of, hey, we have a new recruit and the sergeant, Christoph, you're pulled away as you're following what you're looking around. You see a track in the blood as it peels off and goes into what appears to be like a bed chamber. And as you're walking in, you're following these kind of like 1/2 and 3/4 print boot marks into the bed chamber. You're about halfway there when you realize that there are no return tracks from these boot marks. And as you walk in and you realize you're alone in this room, you look up and you see something written across the entire wall. But let's cut back outside real quick to the group as they are being encircled by the protesters. And at this point, one of them is getting very close to Michelle, and the bat that the person's holding is being raised threateningly. And it says, "We know what you've done. You're not leaving here alive. Blood for blood. That's the third estate."
I'm gonna shout back, Sergeant! Sergeant! And I look back.
Renal, you hear that? Yeah.
I look back to the it's probably our like, you know, our secret code. I shout his name.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
means
never know.
Panic.
It means panic. I like press the panic button. A secret code.
It means
goes up.
like
They
that
all
you're
look
calling
confused.
for him.
Yeah.
What could he be doing?
What
I don't know.
does that mean? A secret word.
Why would he say that?
He's talking in code. Quit it. Shut him up.
Is he saying sergeant or sergeant? I don't know.
You know, I got my rifle at this point. Do these guys have any weapons?
They all appear to be holding melee weapons, but the one that is closest to you is raising it as if he is going to strike you with it.
Well, that's good because I get 3 nat 1s from Kent. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, ooh,
That's
that
a
is
good time
good.
for that. Yeah, I've got my bayonet like, you know, fixed, and I'm like, don't make me hurt you.
Okay, so are you going to attack?
If he's coming at me, then I think.
Yeah, he's coming at you.
Reflexively, Michelle, come at me, bro. I will.
Okay,
attack.
so there's your nat 1 then.
Boom.
As you go at with the rifle, are you going to try to take a shot, or are you going bayonet
It
style?
was bayonet. Yeah, I'm gonna try and stab him pretty much.
Okay, he deflects it off to the side, and he comes down and swings at you, misses with his club. At this point, Babin, you see another one lurch from the crowd towards you, as if in response to the fact that his compatriot had, you know, started the aggression. You have a chance to do something to this one before they attack you.
Could I quick draw my flintlock pistol and shoot the lantern I left behind them?
No, I took it.
Oh.
Yeah, we had that lantern
Damn.
inside now. It's a good idea.
Well, I had something awesome. All right, so I don't.
There
know.
are-
Yeah,
they
I
are
probably wouldn't have hit
lanterns.
it anyway.
And-
Oh, there are street lanterns. Yeah.
and they're holding lanterns.
Right. Ooh, I could just shoot one from their hand. That sounds like fun. Let's do that. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
I'm going to use probably one of my shitty rolls I have.
I'm going to tell you what, because that's a cool idea, and I want to save some of these nat 1s for next
Okay.
time. I'm going to let you roll for this. Now, this
Okay,
is
cool.
gonna be a hard shot because you are
Of course.
calling a very tiny thing, but we'll see what you get. We'll see.
Mainly to scare him. but it may also explode.
You're shooting a flammable lantern.
Yeah.
You don't get to tell me how it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. True. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Where is my roll? What am I shooting? I'm just doing a shoot. A
Right,
pistol
yeah.
flintlock.
Yeah, your flintlock
And
pistol.
firearms, yeah.
All right,
Oh
there it
my god!
Oh, critical success.
Nice.
That's a 1 on the dice. Best
On your
possible roll.
awesome idea, you crit.
Nice.
Get fucked, lantern. Okay.
Yeah, you fucking murdered that lantern.
Okay.
I
So
say.
It wasn't
Hands
even
off.
there a second ago. You materialize it and then kill it.
You used your bomb-shaped hand for this one, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, my McCree hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Anun.
Finger
Anun.
guns hand.
It is Anun.
It's 6 in the morning.
It is at 12 o'clock.
Which is half high noon. No. Shit, yes.
Anun, bonjour.
Okay, so as you the bat comes slamming, almost taking off what the hell was his name? Christoph's head.
Yeah.
Oh, not Christoph.
Michel.
Michelle. It hits Michelle by the side. Michelle drops back, and you, one-handed with a pistol, make a shot of the
Because
fucking
I only have one hand.
right,
That's what I make that clear.
millennium as you
But it's deadly
fire,
accurate.
and it hits and sprays flaming oil all over the crowd as you see them turn up, and the one that had been coming after Michelle turns, and there is a glob of oil all over one side of his face as it's burning up, and you just see wisps of mustache and facial hair and eyelash go up in an instant as
God.
this glob is just resting on his face and burning. He's trying to put it out, but because of the nature of this oil, it's just like a grease fire in a house. It's
Yeah.
spreading over his hair and face, and these people are just scattering as you look down, and these globs of oil kind of splash onto the street, and you see it burning. And out of the corner of your eye, you see maybe a nickel or a quarter-sized glob has dropped on Madame Bossette, and she's just sitting there as it's burning on her leg, and she's just staring straight ahead.
Oh dear.
And as we cut back to the inside, Christoph walks into the room and looks up, and written in blood across the wall, it says, "See you soon, Christoph." And that's where we'll end tonight's session of Reign of Terror.
Nice.
I don't like.
Jam it.
We have 12
So
minutes
good.
left.
We had 12 minutes left.
More.
Like, if we're going from like a character perspective, I feel like Joseph's pretty happy right now.
You get a puppy.
Yeah, he's not burning. He's
You're
got a
high on
puppy.
life right now. You're like, yeah.
Everyone else in the room is dead.
I'm
Joseph's
so
just like,
traumatized.
"Sheila." I think, yeah, Joseph's just all about. I wanted to find, like, I asked my parents actually got a dog over Christmas, and so I asked Steven what the like French term for doggo was, and he was like, I don't think that translates.
Puppy.
But it's like
Oh.
it's chien if it's a
Puppy.
dog, and it's
Very
chiot if it's a puppy.
Oh.
Such a cute. Chiot is like such a cute. It's you can say it cute, so it's perfect.
Well,
I like the idea of Sergeant just kind of staring at you, just
what the fuck?
fucking hating you so much.
It's just like there's dead bodies like hanging
Yeah.
butcher style, draining blood.
Incredible.
He smelled like revolutionary. And I'm like,
Hey-oh, got a puppy.
Like his face is if
And
someone
that's-
has to die. It's if someone has to die. I hope it's you.
But
That's what
first,
it looks
And
like.
that's when it clicked in his head. He's like, oh.
but first, let me take a selfie. This is dog.
Oh my god, guys, that was so much fun. Hopefully you guys in chat there enjoyed our first episode of Reign of Terror. I know I certainly had an absolute blast tonight, and it looks like a lot of you guys did as well. Thank you to everybody for all of the donations tonight. Also, a special thank you to Scott, who pledged $10 on Patreon, as well as Todd, who pledged $20 on Patreon during the course of that show.
Oh, shit.
Thank you so much, my friends. You guys are fucking awesome. And, of course, to everybody who donated. A special shout-out to the two for that huge £70 donation at the beginning of today's show. Cannot wait to see you guys again for the next episodes of Reign of Terror. It's going to be a blast. Of course, we are wrapping up today after, 6.5 hours of D&D and Call of Cthulhu. We'll be back tomorrow. Next time you'll see me is 12 p.m. Eastern over on Arvin Elleron's channel. I'll be playing a Dunedain Ranger in a Middle-earth campaign, which is going to be a lot of fucking fun. Followed by 5 p.m. Eastern, The Long March here on Encounter Roleplay. Second season is back. and we've got a full cast and crew back for that one. It's going to be some shenanigans, my friends. But let's go around the cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Hand count is at 18 at the end of this episode. Hopefully I can carry on for the rest of the season, because I only see it getting further.
Let's hit 100 by episode 3.
By episode 3 is yep, that's the aim. Greg, my friend, excellent keepering DMing tonight. What did you think of tonight's show, dude?
I think it's great. There's with Cthulhu, as Will you know very well, there's a lot of building up, and then there's a lot of crazy shit that follows. And this is a good slow burn to it. These guys are fantastic to try to wrangle like cats. And but my favorite thing is when the dice tell the story and help me do this, and a crit from a one-handed guy shooting a lantern out.
19.
That's what it does. That's the best part. Anyway, Grimjack21502 on Twitch and Twitter. Everybody, you can catch me next time on Encounter Roleplay from 1 to 4 on Wednesday, doing my own playthrough of Call of Cthulhu with Will as my keeper. God help me all. God help us all. But that is where it is at. And then you can see me Wednesday night from 8 to 11 on our own Unmade Mings channel, where I will be the Lurk Steam. Followed by my own channel on Sundays from 7 to 9, where you can join me and the cast of Olympians for some Call of Cthulhu, Pulp Cthulhu, set in 1933, where we kick Nazi ass and take Nazi names.
Love it.
Have a great time. See you next week, guys.
Thanks so much, Greg. Let's go around in reverse order. So, Jules.
Oh god, yeah. I love getting a puppy, but seeing the lantern explosion work, that's fucking fantastic. You guys can find me here, obviously, every Monday, and then you can find me on Twitter at Julia_Rosa. And I also play Dungeons and Dragons. I play a little obnoxious gnome with a group of my friends called the Dungeon Drugs. You can find them on Twitter, and new episodes are every Monday.
Incredible stuff. Myth.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I had a wonderful time. Thank you, everybody, for playing. It was wonderful playing. It was wonderful playing with you guys, as always. I loved the jokes, loved everything about it, loved the, still, even at the end, even with all the jokes and all of the plot slow, like all of us trotting through the plot slowly because of our jokes and stuff, still, it ended up being a wonderful, as always, and leaving us on that wonderful cliffhanger, as you always do. Amazing work, as always. Thank you guys, everybody in chat, for hanging out. My name is Mythomatic. I am a roleplay streamer and voice actor here on Twitch. You can follow me anywhere that says Mythomatic. If you need to know what that looks like, just look above my face here, and that's Mythomatic. Thanks, guys.
Amazing stuff, Myth. Always a pleasure. Haley, what was it like to be back?
It feels so good to be back. I've missed this channel. I've missed playing with you people. I can finally play a game with you. This is my first game that I've actually played with Will, so that's kind of been here a year, and and I miss Greg. But no, it's great to finally be back. The game got derailed so many times. It was hilarious. All the singing and the jokes, just such a great group of people. But I am the Great Haley on all social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, etc. I'm a variety streamer, and I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I just recently went full-time about a month ago, so this is my job now, yay!
Hey.
And you can also find me playing on Exploding Dice on Thursdays. I play like the lewdest pirate you've ever seen, so you have to come watch it. Such a good game, it really is.
Nice. Whereabouts is that?
Regular Haley.
I play Haley because I get drunk and I play it too. Like, well, we're all drinking. It's hilarious.
Nice. And last and most least, Mike.
So I am one of the few people here that can say that I have actually had Greg be my keeper before. And in the 7, I think, hours that I've had the pleasure of having Greg as my keeper, I can only assume that this is going to get much worse, much faster. And I'm not ready for it. And I've played here on Encounter Roleplay for the last 2+ years. This is the first horror game that I've actually been able to play in. And I can absolutely wait longer. Please don't kill me. But if you guys want to see more of me besides being here on Monday, you can see me over on Unmade Gaming, where I do the same thing Will does, but worse and more American. So come check me out on Unmade Gaming. And I'll see you guys there.
That's about a long and short of it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on tonight's show here on Encounter Roleplay, the first episode of Reign of Terror. Of course, as I mentioned, I'll be back online tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern on our on Ailerons, and then back on Encounter Roleplay at 5 p.m. Eastern for more of the long march as we head into our first season of 2018. Thank you again. A huge shout out to our sponsors, dndice.co.uk. Check them out. Use the affiliate code Encounter Roleplay to get 5% off on all of their dice. Strongly recommend you check them out, as well as checking out the giveaway here on Twitter. There are already 300 retweets on it, so get in as fast as possible, guys. We've got a week left on that giveaway. You guys check it out. Bunch of dice, metal dice, acrylic dice, dice tray, dice pouch, all primo quality, as we say here. Thank you guys once again, and until next time, try not to roll too many nat ones, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Farewell.